So we're going to go with three.
That's what I said, I guess the other people's not coming.
I just don't go.
No,
Smaller, I mean, you can't discuss.
You're gonna have four in a minute.
Are we waiting another second?
Is he here? Where is he?
You didn't know he was pretty much. I'm got suit on, you know. If he's
Why
taking
did
it.
anybody tell him?
I
We're live, by the way.
I thought it was the, you only had to be.
That's what I said.
He's coming back.
So we're waiting.
I
So I have a
saw him
question.
at
We're online, we're live, by the way, if you have a question. We're online. Just so you know, we're being recorded.
Yay, hello.
Shall we,
I would start, we can always skip that and we can start talking about
Call to order. Welcome everybody here tonight, and the millions watching on YouTube. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
All right, we have Councilmember Clotworthy. Here. Councilmember McAdams. Here. Councilmember McConnell.
Here.
Mayor Granstrom. Here. This meeting was advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and complies with all the laws therein. So we are going to do a couple things, skip the first part, which is appointment of council member for the second. And we're going to go discuss about the ordinance real quickly. On the current ordinances, we had the budget that we bought. It's not an ordinance, but I threw it on there just to let everybody know that the adoption of the ordinance will be, adoption of the budget will be at the next council meeting. And the land use procedure one, which was adding the alternates allowed to be on the land use board. That it's just a cosmetic issue, language issue that we didn't have. We had it for many, many years, but we're just cleaning that stuff up right now that Brian caught for us. There's three new ordinances. One was prohibiting the fishing from the bulkhead area at the Brooklawn waterfront, rules and regulations for the pickleball court, and New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission ordinance, which is an ordinance that we said, which is an ordinance we can discuss in a minute. Now that the person has arrived, would you? We have a new. We had a council member resign last on March 17th. I received a letter from the Democratic Committee. Dear members of the Borough Council, the Brooklawn Democratic Committee hereby nominates the following three candidates to fill the council vacancy caused by the resignation of Christina Houchin. The names are Jeffrey Holler, Sharon Harding, and Kevin Everhart. I thank you for the consideration for these candidates. Signed, Kevin Everhart, the chairman. So at this time, I would need a nomination for the seat.
I would like to nominate Jeff Holler.
I need a second.
I will second.
All right, and we have Councilmember Clotworthy,
Yes.
Councilmember McConnell,
Yes.
and Council President McAdams.
Yes.
Congratulations, Jeff. We are going to have to swear you in. Mayor can swear him in, I guess? Mayor can swear you in. Someone hold the Bible for him.
Need a Bible holder.
Yes, always the Bible.
Someone passed it. Give me your paper. Do you need a whole piece? No.
Let's see, we're going to take pictures or something. Got a suit on to make it look nice.
This is history.
I got it.
I'm outcast. Oh, your family here? Are they here?
There's nothing for that here?
Okay, raise your right hand, there you go. State your name. I do solemnly swear.
I do, Jeffrey Haller, solemnly swear
Or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true
and faith
and faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United
and
States
to the governments established in the United States of America,
and in this state,
in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and I will faithfully,
faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform the duties of the office of council
perform the
Member.
duties
of the
Council. office of council
member,
member,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
You can sit there right on the end there. And if you want to get a minute.
Yeah, you're a voting member.
In the fire.
Thank you.
Jack, don't disappoint us. We'll work hard. We got a lot to do.
Will do.
We got a good crew.
All right. All right. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you, sir.
So we're, like, the work session, we're going over the ordinances, that's coming up on the current ordinances or the budget and land use procedures. There will be a second reading at the next council meeting. For those two, we had a first reading for the budget and the other ordinance at the last meeting. So we put that, anybody that wanted to discuss that, that's what the court session is for. So, those two things are already on it. The new ordinances, we have prohibiting fishing on the bulkhead area on the Brooklawn waterfront. Colin, you want to mention anything about that one?
Yeah, Skip and I were down there, for the construction, obviously, for speed bumps and the lining of that. And we had many residents approach us with, they had a ton of ideas and issues and things like that. This is one of the ones that came up. They reported they've had many residents, get out, well, not residents, but people go down there, cast their lines, and they've had, right through people's windows. Cars, yeah,
And house.
houses, yeah.
Like a weird cast, like there's only right there, what is right there?
And the house is 20 feet from it, so it's, yeah, I mean, you're right there. So it's a long time coming, something that probably should have been for a while. But obviously a safety issue. There's no sidewalks on Pershing either, so it's a high traffic area. People are walking back and forth, and you got people casting. And I think it's not an issue for most people. Most people go down to all the rest of the billion areas that are open to go ahead and fish. So it's not an issue for most people, but it's definitely something we wanted to get on to obviously as a safety issue that we see there on Pershing.
Okay.
Bulkhead, is this the one with the railing?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
now back where like the gazebo was, where the new structure is, that's okay?
Yeah, this
Okay.
only runs
Good, yeah,
essentially.
And actually down on the waterfront,
that's fine.
they could, in front of that railing, where there's
Oh,
no,
I see.
yeah,
Okay.
and then you can't walk there, but they don't, just up that there's those homes right there.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah, it runs a length of like the 12 homes there on Pershing.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, there's plenty of space the other way, so we don't have to stop it, it just has to stop there.
Yeah, and I know Patrick put in a ton of work with the Sustainable New Jersey with all those
Rock-
bushes and
rock-
things,
rock-
the gardens and everything you put down there,
Yeah,
and
so
they
much
just
fun.
trample all over them and down there. So,
That's
you know, something that, we want to get fixed. So that's it. The pickleball rules and regulations, we just wanted to get them on there. If anybody takes a look at them, you have an issue, you want to add something or subtract something, just let me know. They're pretty general in terms of like what people typically do for pickleball courts. But we did, like, if you guys aren't happy with the hours, I think it's 8 from 8 right now, right, 8 to 8 right now. We also have down there reserved times on Saturdays and Sundays for Brooklawn residents only from 8 to 12, things like that. But if you see anything on there you don't like or anything that's missing, just obviously let us know and we can add something onto there. But the idea was to have something in before the court goes in, so we're not behind the 8 ball when it goes in and trying to enforce, anything that's going on.
I think if there's things that come up in the beginning, you'll have something to point to, so that's a great job, get that done early.
Yeah.
Is there gonna be like a reservation type system, or is it call in?
So we're still kind of discussing, what that might look like. We don't know what the demand is going to look like.
It's gonna be like everything else, it's gonna be high volume in the beginning and then
Sure.
taper off a little bit.
Yeah.
You think,
Yeah, we were thinking like every hour on the hour, it doesn't matter if you get there 10 minutes before, every hour on the hour, a turnover if there's someone waiting. like, to play, you know what I mean? So that was one of our ideas.
Yeah,
that we
in the
had.
regulations,
Yeah.
you can only play 11 points. If somebody's waiting, you can only play to 11 points. Then you got to move. Somebody else will come up there and they will move. So it's rotating. So nobody's sitting there.
Is it like hoops where it's win by 2 and they just drag it off forever?
That could happen.
It could happen.
Right, to clarify that, it could happen. But that's kind of like the base of our run now. I hope, which they do all we there's a million systems out there to go online. I think an online reservation system at the end of the day would be brilliant.
Yeah.
I think it's very simple and we can definitely do that, but I just don't know what our demand's gonna look like at the beginning. We might not need it. You might,
Yeah.
I don't know. And we can always adjust as we go, but I love the online system thing if we needed to be there. We only have one court, obviously other towns, Cherry Hill is like 28.
Yeah.
We have one. But it is gonna be something, I think it'll be good for the residents. And then if you guys see anything in there, like I
Yeah,
said,
that's
I mean, I tried to cover everything that I saw in there.
Yeah.
But if you guys see anything, so just let me know.
Do you have something that prohibits other activities? besides
Yes,
the-
it's, yes, and so,
Yeah,
one of the things
they're
in there.
playing
Mike's
street
making
hockey.
up all the signs right now. So I have signage coming, 3 different signs, that's gonna lay out all the rules that are right there. Everything's laid out, black and white right there. The ordinance are passed, so, hopefully it's a very seamless transition is the goal. But like I said, take a look at them, see anything that, you want, don't want, we can address that.
So they're gonna work out, like, day one, who's gonna play,
I thought it was me versus Cass.
well,
I have 20 on cash.
Yeah, I'll throw another.
I'm not, Ryan plays a lot, so I'm not facing Ryan, but, but I think and it's cool. I think we can, we talked about a lot of not having a lot of things that build community in the town, because we lost all our sports and we lost all that kind of stuff. So I think it'll be a good thing where we can run our own tournaments and we can have a kids tournament one day, can have a senior tournament one day. You get, there's things that we can do to really encourage community involvement, so I'm excited about it.
yeah, very good.
That's great. So,
Is the sign gonna say
I
Brooklawn
don't think we
residents
can-
only?
I don't think,
I just wanna know if it's Brooklawn residents only.
No, it could be for anybody.
no, it's not strictly, no.
The pickleball court?
Yeah.
No, anybody can play on that, yeah.
Public
Once
park.
word gets out, it's gonna be
The
used all
public
the
park.
time.
Yeah, we can't ban people from the public park.
Unless, now, if there was a club, I just a thought now, because I've,
keep it open.
like a tennis club, no.
Yeah, it's a public park, we can't, just like I can go to Washington Township and play at what we do, go to Township, I can go to Haddon Heights, I can, they can't tell me I can't play there. It'd be great if we can keep it to ourselves, but that's just not the reality.
So the other, anything else on that?
Yeah, that's good.
The New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission ordinance. This ordinance, so everybody knows that they're building a big huge facility up in North Jersey and Patterson area for Netflix. They're gonna be investing almost $10 billion in New Jersey over the next 6 to 7 years, just from filming. So they're looking for a lot of sites of areas to film and stuff like that, but they're only gonna go to places that have permits, so it's not have strict rules to go in, because they don't want to, as they said in the meeting, they don't want to go to places and have to go in front of the board, get permission, all this stuff. At least an ordinance is ready to go, you can go out and film. They filmed in Gloucester City recently, all that kind of stuff is, they have an ordinance, and Gloucester City has an ordinance already in place. But we do not. I'm doing this for Brooklawn and for Westville. They want pictures, they want pictures of old churches. They like baseball fields a lot because they like the grass area that a lot of land, we're gonna take a lot of pictures of that. The abandoned church thing was really cool because they used the abandoned church for American Horror Stories up in North Jersey. It was a small town of only 800 or 900 homes, the same size as us, and they made a lot of money. They filmed for 6 months there. Because it brings in a lot of people. They eat at Europe, they patronize your businesses. You got to put a list of hotels in your area. We will not be putting that one on there, but they're within 10 miles of the site. So they, for anybody that's doing the acting or the producers and stuff can stay somewhere else that are away from the site. So we can put in Cherry Hill hotels or whatever. We can market it. So we kind of market the town. We put it on the site, and what happens is the location scouts will look at this, then they'll look at the list and they'll look at pictures, and then if they like something, they'll come down and look at that, and then they'll notify they got a permit. This will be the permit process. I think the maximum we would charge during a day on a motion picture would be $1,500 on public property, $500 on regular filming. So it's a permit. If they do it at somebody's house, they still gotta get a permit here to say that they're in town doing the filming, because they got all kinds of crews and different cars and stuff like that, so. It's a good ordinance, it's pretty much modeled after Gloucester City, so, I took a lot of the stuff from there and modeled after their actual model ordinance that they have. And so they want to be, you want to be consistent, you don't want to overprice them out and say just because they don't have a lot of money, like, a lot of these movie productions are very, on a shoestring, but some movie productions have more money, but you don't want to just hurt them in that regard, so. But we're gonna take a bunch of pictures and do aerial shots and stuff, and just let you know if everybody's okay with that. You know, it could be something that down the road, we could be on some TV show or something. So, I thought it was a cool idea.
And but if they shoot pictures or something, like you said, at one of our baseball fields,
Yeah.
they'll give us $1,500.
If they shoot it, they shoot a scene per day.
Okay,
Yes.
per day, okay.
It's cool at the end of the credits too, it would say filmed on site in Brooklyn, New Jersey.
Yeah, it'll be in the credits, yeah, so the thing, so it, but as long as we stay consistent with all the things, they're not gonna go, if you're gonna overcharge them. They don't wanna come before the board, because they don't want public to know the thing, that's the biggest thing, is about discretion, like, there might be a permit submitted, but it's not gonna be on Facebook, it's not gonna be on the thing, and then, you know, if somebody calls and asks, it's gonna say, oh, they're doing a filming thing there, but there's not gonna be who's there, who's not. I mean, it's not gonna be, everybody knows that Steven Spielberg and Emily Blunt and everybody are in Cape May right now filming the big movie, but it's just that you, like, but it's not gonna be like that, like, so, it's just so you know. Any questions on that? Are you good with that? All right, so the only resolution we had for the, what's called this upcoming meeting is just a renewal of our South Jersey South Jersey Regional Employee Benefits Fund. It's a standard thing that we do for our JIF that we have to renew to keep in with our health insurance and our CHIP insurance, which is joint insurance fund, which is all the stuff that we do. So it's a 3-year contract that it's just a renewal agreement that we have to do. So that's really the only thing that's on the agenda right now. I'm sure there might be a change order for the gas filtration system, for the building of the warehouse space or something like that. It could be that thing, so it could be all that kind of stuff, so that's where that would be on that thing, so anybody have a question, any other resolution you think that we need, or coming up? Anybody has anything?
I have some items to talk about, when we get to that point. I don't know if they'll make it to resolution, but just some things to talk about.
All right, so we'll move along to the items of discussion, which will take some over a minute. Trish, I know we were talking about before, do we have like an idea what you want to do for rentals of the community center and
Sort of, I mean, there's not really a committee to
Mhm.
discuss this, so.
Well, because we have a lot of people that want to rent this
Yeah, well,
facility
that's
right
not,
now.
right, so,
I mean, I do, we have, one person that works here, one person works for the school. I know Amber used it and she would like to know a price. Is it okay if I just use $300 like I've been using for people?
yeah,
Is that okay? Because like,
I
it's
mean, I do think that's okay.
I just want to put, our new council member on that, we lost Christine.
Yeah.
You know,
Good, and then it'll be very less, and we
Right.
can kind of start having conversations about it, which will be good. But I do think 300 is fair. What do you guys think?
What's 300 for?
Is that the rent?
The rent of space, like, we wanted to put it in, like, they got to sign a hold harmless agreement, and then they rent the space and for $300. But eventually we were talking about, the mayor and I was actually saying, like, you know, we put $50 for the key, like, down payment, you don't return the key, we keep the $50, and like another $50 for cleaning if we find it, like, for Harry type of thing. So that's what we were thinking, so like $400 total, but $50 you would get back as the down payment for the key itself.
It's like when you say 300, is that
And
like,
that's for like
And that
baby
is just
showers
the
and
rental,
things
the
like that.
rental.
I
like, are
mean,
there hours, are there limits? So like 300 gets you what? How many hours does that get you? Like,
Right, well, that's what we.
Yeah, we never
actually
really
discussed.
set hours, we just said, you know, you can have it just during this time period if you need it.
But I know that somebody, has had it, the date set aside for what, maybe a year now?
Yeah.
And I know that she's concerned about it, so if we could just come
Yeah.
up with something.
Yeah, hers runs not
Hours
till
go.
May, but it's coming up pretty quickly, and I wanna, and she's going through stuff, so I wanna make sure we get that information to her now, so.
I'm sure you guys can get together before even the next meeting, right? And
Yeah, oh,
just
yeah,
decide
now that,
something. Yeah,
I mean, because it was just really the two of us, so it's kind of good that there's a third.
Yeah.
This
Get
week.
that calendar started, you know, get the
Yeah,
dates
yeah,
on.
I'm actually
Like
gonna come up tomorrow and, finalize the things for the egg hunt with Todd, and then we're gonna. talk
And then
about
I would
a few
like
more
to,
things
we would
about
like to
that.
change the locks on everything, and then get 20 keys made, all numbered.
Okay.
And then make sure and we'll have a list of who has the keys,
And I
like,
think
but
we should charge
I
a
need a
key
master key
deposit
because.
on them as well, even on the senior groups. Now, I know that.
Well, no, we
we're not
should, I want $50 from everybody to get the key.
gonna- Right.
Doesn't matter what, they can keep the key for as long as they want, but I want $50 up front, we'll put it in an envelope,
No,
we'll put it
right, that's what
aside.
I was gonna say,
So
even the
we know
senior
they
groups are
have
not
it.
excluded
Yeah,
from the key deposit.
yeah, so they have key number
Mhm.
10,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have it in an envelope, and then, so if they never come back and give me the key, then I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep the money.
Okay. No,
Because
I
if
think
we
that's
can't keep, I mean, I have 25
Definitely.
keys, they're all gone, I have no clue
I
who
know.
has.
And I feel like every time I go in there to the community center,
They move
it could
stuff.
be, yeah, there's something else. It's just a dumping ground for so many people. So it will be good once we change the locks.
Yeah,
And,
that's good.
yeah,
Yeah, so
because there's
that's the
a
next
lot of
phase,
keys
after
going on.
we said we were gonna change the lock, we cleaned it out and get the
Yes.
paint everything.
How do you police it in terms of like, you give somebody a key and we know that they don't copy it and just give it to somebody else, or it's.
That I can't, but we
There's
can,
no
we
way
can, we
of-
can make it, we can make the keys do not duplicate on
Yeah.
the key, you can make
Yeah,
a key
yeah.
that way.
Okay.
And then most places don't, but that doesn't mean that, like, I mean,
Yeah,
if we have an old key thing at the bone now, we can make any keys, but.
Don't tell people that.
Well, if you're gonna only get
But
20,
there's kiosks at ShopRite, like, you just throw it in there. I guarantee they work 3% of the time, but yeah, that one's tough. And the key card thing is too expensive.
Expensive to
in
have,
my
yeah,
mind,
to
yeah.
say, well, you cannot duplicate,
Yeah.
So that you punch in,
yeah, the code,
we have the ability to change it after every use.
you could do that,
That's not a bad idea.
what is it?
put a code on the door.
So you can do, like a lot of Airbnbs do it. You do a code that you can set from your phone and you say, okay, here's the code. It's good for a day.
Right.
Yeah.
What's
Let's
that?
look into that. Who would manage it? You know what I mean?
Wouldn't that be a little?
Be us.
It would be maybe Campbell, the key, the place where you would buy the lock.
Well, the lock would be Campbell.
If they're not open Saturday and Sunday,
Oh,
then
yeah.
it turns into a
He's
thing.
saying who's gonna monitor to be able to change the key information and key lock.
I mean, we might be able
We
to.
work government hours here, so,
Figure that
so
out.
so that'd be tough.
The only thing I would suggest is if you could reach out to the JIF, because if I'm not mistaken, they have new requirements for the rental of community centers and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm basing it on that, the, one of the ones where they have the tool program, obviously, but we're not selling liquor there. But if they have that, they have the tool program for the liquor liability situation. And then they have, hold harmless, they redrafted the hold harmless with more teeth in it. So that's all been done. I've already updated that. And then there's, one other thing that I have to look into for, but yes, I will make sure.
Because I know depending on some JIFs, they require an insurance or an indemnification.
It's an indemnification agreement, but that's what the tool program, that, they pull that in with that. They're required to, even if the tool program was for the tenant liability, the liquor liability, but they also were thinking about using that as just to get liability for their own insurance. And they would use their rider of their homeowner's insurance, or they could use the tool program, sign into it, it would automatically send an email to us telling us that they paid the fee, whatever it is. It's a nominal fee, I think it's like $60-something, something like that. We're just not for that. I think it's the same thing we're talking about.
Okay. Just so long as JIF signs off on the ordinance, because God forbid, we don't want a claim to happen there and they deny coverage.
Yeah. And we're trying to, that's why we're trying to say, okay, residents are this much, outside residents will be a lot more.
Right.
That kind of thing. Outside people will be more than that. But I just want to get, just for the people that, these are only, we're not putting anybody new in there. It's only for the two people that have been booked for the last 6 or 7 months. That's the only, I've just charged the fee, that's not the set fee, but with the committee, whatever is gonna be Trish and 2 other people, do whatever you want to make, Mayor.
Yeah.
If you don't mind real quick. Mayor, if it's cool with you, and this is no knock, but I'm kind of passionate about this. Could we trade one? Because I think I'd like to be a part of this.
Well,
You can say no to this.
no, who else is, it's you and now,
Me, Stacy, and.
oh, and Stacy.
I
Yeah,
would
I-
like to trade something to be on this, and I'd like to do it, because I have a lot of ideas going, and I'm kind of passionate about it, so I think I'd like to do it.
Would
Will
you
you
have
trade?
to trade?
Um,
I mean, how fortunate.
Do I spread the cards out like this and then you have to pick one? And I put one higher than the other?
I'm on Parks and Rec, and I have one thing, and then I can, which I'll update on, and then I can back off that. Yeah, so I have, so I have Public Works, Public Relations, which I like, flooding, Parks and Rec and then personnel. I would trade Parks and Rec to do this. And I could throw in like a bag of goldfish.
How about some,
Fruit snacks. No, that person is not up here. That person goes out there. Gushers. But yeah, I would say, I would like to do this.
your, little public relations.
Yeah, I like Public Works, and I like,
I would like
I
to
like
talk to
personnel.
Stacy before I say, but I don't think,
Jeff's the rookie. It's like, if this is the NBA, if he's buying dinner.
I'll tell you what,
I already got the card out.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, officially, I pointed him, but I'm gonna put you on that, I'm gonna talk to Stacy, I'm gonna put him on there anyway, get his feet wet.
Trish is good. I
I
want
will
to meet Trish
switch.
Stacy.
Because you have some other work coming, I haven't figured it out yet. So yes, you can be on it and immediately start with
Meet
that.
Trish Stacy.
No, you for him, he's not on it right now, I'm gonna
Okay. You put me on
negotiate
it?
with Stacy.
I'm deferring to you, so you'll be on.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Don't mess with me.
Let's do it. No, you're the chair. I just want to help out. I'm a good gopher as well, as you see.
No, I know, but I
Good go.
think that we can.
I bring coffee, I do the whole thing. Extra
Trish, full
coffee.
speed ahead
Well,
with
I like
this,
their nuts. Yeah,
Fair.
for sure.
full speed ahead, John, you could look at the lock situation.
Yeah, I'm all in.
Okay.
And I'll get you the paperwork on the, like, what Brian said, I'll get the paperwork from the Jeff.
Understood.
And so you can review it and see if
Sorry, Jeff.
that's okay to add to
Teamwork.
whatever policy we want to put together.
Yeah.
And we should create a policy for this space, like, we can memorialize on an ordinance, can't we? We can memorialize on an ordinance after we get all the information that we want to do on this.
No, we'll be good.
I'd like to do
That's
tomorrow,
good.
if possible. But yeah, or Friday morning. I do take a Friday nap though, but yeah.
Should we do the Borough home increase, right?
Well, Don, wait to see if everybody's okay, we good with that? Everybody good moving forward on that one?
What did you say?
We're good moving forward now, or?
Yes.
We're good? And I know, Colin, I think you have something to say about the fire rental increases, or
I don't think I
you
did.
don't have anything?
No.
Okay. Well, Christine said you did, but
I might have some.
and so fire increases, usually we do this in April, to determine what the increase is gonna be, for the borough homes. Not for, we've already changed the borough homes for the, new people, already, we preempted that. But it's like 1650 and the 18 something for the income qualified, and it's like 1600 for the other one. We're gonna bring the other one up, whatever you wanna go up to, that's not the income qualified, but either for I need to get a resolution together to, determine what the increase is gonna be for the people that are currently in their homes, because we have to do new leases. I like to get them done in April, then I gotta put draft the leases in May, get them out there, signed like by June, and then they're good to go by July 1st.
So all the leases are up on June. for all the-
They're July 1st.
July.
Through the end of June,
By
30th, June 30th, they're done. So I like to have that's why we say April. Last year, we got it done in June, and I got pushed everything back. So trying to make sure we kind of get an idea. One of the ideas that was discussed before was tier it.
By who?
By Colin and Christine, and I know we talked about it, this was a while back. Is tier it based on the years that they've been in there. And scale it to like a 3% to a 6%. Like, so the lowest one will get a 3% bump. The ones that've been there longest would be a smaller increase. And then the one because they could be the ones that might be on a fixed income or something like that. They've been there for 30 years or something like that. So, and then the ones that are lesser, you can have like a bigger increase on that. We did that before. It used to be, the resolution used to say between 850, like the rent was 850 to 900, that person would go up $25. And then it was between 901 to 1,000, it went up $35. That's what we did in the past. So I don't know how you want to structure it, or would you want to go up? There was some research done that say that we can't really go up. Like, we can't just like go up $150,000 on these people. It would just be,
No, and we never
it would
did,
just be,
we never did do that.
but there, if you stay within a realm of like no more than 6%, you should be in good shape. Like, but like, I don't know how you want to tier it low, that's up to you guys. It's not, you can decide
I
whatever
would just
you
like
want.
to say something on that.
Go ahead.
You know, I looked into averages, and yes, yours, like, the city of Philadelphia came in, you know, up and around the 6% area. I say, the range should be no more than, I mean, minimum 3% for a raise. Like, so the average person that's in there at 3%, you're talking like a $29 to 40.
Is this a
depending on-
yearly?
Yeah, just
Yearly,
a
yeah.
3% raise. You know, I know in municipal, it was always 2%. You couldn't go over 2%. You know, that 2% was always in our mind.
Yep, still can't.
And we tried and can't. So we tried to be fair. Now, as far as just my opinion, because I did talk to Christine a little bit about it, I do appreciate, and I spoke to Colin about it a little, you know, the elderly ones that have been here for years and years. It's a great feeling to do that, like charge them less because they've been here more. We just revamped our whole Borough Homes thing and extremely went right to the other side to bring us out of the dark, basically. Because, and we're still below actually rentals around everywhere, even at that extreme. We've been, you know, accused of like saying we're crazy. Why are you charging so much? This place has been the best place in the world to come for $800 a month. Come on. I would say if we're gonna, my opinion, I like the idea of if you're gonna charge 3% or 2% or 5% or 4%, even at 6%, we're not gonna make any money, so to speak. These homes have been bleeding us, you know. The rents don't accommodate all the work and the upkeep and all that stuff, the maintenance and things like that. I say the range should be, in my opinion, between 3 and 5%, no more than 5, no less than 3. And I think one for all down the line should be fair. I do appreciate the elderly ones. I'm one of them myself. But what's good for them, I think is good for them, you know. And fairness is what I'm all about.
Let me ask you guys one question on this. So I think it like, I'm not sure we have the wording in there, but it could go job hopping. So if you are in a house and let's say we're charging, say, you know, $1,650 for like a 2-bedroom, you know, and then you're getting the 3% every year, right? Would we be adjusting the rent for new people 3% every year? Or would you say, okay, I'm gonna back out of it and then re-sign a lease and then it starts back to the $1,650? Or is there a way that, like, how would we adjust for that?
I think what we did was by jumping up, now we're coming out of the red as far as,
I'm savvy on that.
you know, coming out of it.
It's like when you cancel the subscription and then sign up with another email address. I think that it could almost be the same thing.
That's where the resolution is done every year. So if the adjustments change, like obviously income requirements change every year, right? So you can change the resolution for people that are moving in, to go up, down. It doesn't really matter. Like
We
you
can
can change
flex
that
that,
yearly. We changed that yearly. So like we used to go up, like if we went up to $50 on like $25 in every household, we would say new tenants will be $100 increase. Like, you know what I mean? Back then.
Do we, you're retroactive, if they say, okay, now we're charging $1,500 because it's hard to get people in there, would we lower the people that we have in there?
That would be the fairest thing.
Yeah.
If you had somebody
If not,
paying $1,650 and then you lowered it to $1,500, I think it would go for anybody.
It's okay in the housing market, but in rental. I
Yeah,
think
rental
that's-
would be a little bit rough.
Yeah.
But that's if you go down, then you would go down for them.
They start a hedge fund
Yeah,
for us.
But we're not necessarily saying with the new rent, you know, the people coming in paying the premium, so to speak. Does that mean we're gonna charge them 3% every year? What we're talking about is our people that have been
If
here.
you're grandfathered,
Yeah, well,
okay.
yeah, until they move or,
Yeah.
you know. So I say 3% for the people that have been here. You
3%
gotta
a year.
get your
No,
yearly.
just this year. We're only passing a resolution for this year only,
So
for the next lease.
we
all we're
went,
talking
now
about.
you know.
So it's a one-time thing?
We have went years
Raise
without
light.
raising people. We went 2-3 years
Yeah,
and not
right.
charging them.
Yeah.
We
So-
didn't raise from the pandemic.
I mean, these are $800 under what they would fetch on the open
Yes,
market.
absolutely.
I mean,
So
it's better than an eBay.
I would say a fair percentage going up is good for them, good for everybody, good for us, it's fair. Just whether or not you continue it every year, we could have a good year coming up, let's
Yeah.
say, and maybe we don't want to do that. We want to be a little more fair or something like that. I think we've been more than fair to everybody in this town
Yeah.
for 100 years.
It'll be a shock, but if we were doing as we were supposed to do and doing all the time, then we'd be less of bad guys for this.
Sure.
I think 3 is light, but I also think it's fair. I mean, what do you guys think?
It's up to you guys, it's really,
You said 3 to 5.
Yeah, I mean, I have no relatives in there, so and if I did, I'm not a fan of my relatives, so it might be worse, but I think it would be, that's light, but I think if you have family in there, you would want to take care of them, like.
sure, and we all want to do that. We
Yeah.
all want to do it, but, it can be said, it has the appearance of being unfair. Why, how come oh, well, she's old. Well,
Yeah.
They don't take care of the old too much, do they, cats?
Nope.
When you get old, it's,
The
no,
Pennsylvania lottery apparently benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. I ask old Pennsylvanians all the time, they say, what lottery? They say it all the time, they're not getting any benefit.
I'm gonna
something to do.
say this, I wasn't gonna say anything about it, but I'm working on a program right now for seniors.
I've got an idea too.
Ryan, and we've come up with a pretty good idea, and I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say that it's a big announcement is coming up. Let me put it that way. Big, huge. We're gonna benefit, we're trying to put something together. Again, I was looking at it on a different scale, as Ryan was, and he schooled me a little bit on it, and John. So, but it's gonna be a big announcement, and it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be 100% benefit the seniors in town. People that are in fixed income, I got a letter from a woman that, said, my rent is going up, what was it, $3? I said,
$3.
For the water.
and she wasn't gonna be able
$3.
to, she wasn't gonna be able to buy, what she normally buys in food that month for $3. And I said, man, we gotta do something, So that's what sparked it. That sparked the idea. We're gonna do something for the seniors in town, and it's gonna be a good thing. And that's where that's at. So we do have compassion for the old elder ones and relatives. And that's how, we go with it, 3%, or you could do whatever you guys want. If you don't want to, you want to go 2%? I'm just saying, on the average, like Camden, I think Westmont, they're like 6-7% increases.
One time or every year?
I think every year, or as the way the economy goes, like, we are not allowed to raise anything over 2%, and now the economy's eating everybody up, so if we could, we would, but we don't, municipal speaking, So, I'm just going round and round, but that's kind of where I think the 3 to 5% would be fair.
It's just it's a unique position, because we're so far below market value.
Yeah.
That like 3% probably does nothing.
And we're feeling guilty.
But you don't want, you're not going 25%, which maybe
Would be fair.
slowly gets you to where you should be, whatever the case is. So it's a unique situation and problem that I think festered for way too long. And now we're trying to confront it, and it's a difficult situation.
We're a compassionate town.
Yeah, we are.
Anybody says we are, and we don't get we're called, whatever.
Ryan, just one question. Are the leases identical for each property?
Yes,
Okay.
they're the exact same lease. Well, not the amount, but the actual lease itself is identical.
People are happy.
Yeah, absolutely. It was done by Christine Halchin, and she does this stuff for a living. So it's a really good lease.
I like your thought there. I'm gonna put some thought into it. But yeah, it's a great thing to bring up, and it's a good problem to have that things are very affordable. But from people up here that manage the budget of the town and the money of the town, you have to have you need to draw the line between fiscally responsible for a town in charge of so many things in the school and then all this stuff, and then being nice.
Well, we want it.
Yeah.
And who's on the actual Fair Homes Committee? Because I know Christina's gone. So what does that consist of? Or we can talk about that later.
It's
But I
not on
know
my
like she
thing,
was
so-
I'm on there.
heading that.
So.
But I've not ever been brought up to snuff or anything, so.
No, I don't
I think
think I'm on
Stacy's
that.
on it. I think you were.
I think
Well,
it's
Stacy and Christine were on that committee.
It's Stacy, Christine, and Trish.
Stacy, the new member, which was Christine and Bruce, actually. But, I might move Bruce.
So
That's a
I'm
good
not on
topic.
there?
You know, everybody's moving all over the place.
I
Yeah,
thought
we
it was
got,
on Barrow.
we're moving.
Who wants to trade more now?
Yeah.
Yeah, what can you
I just put the card down, I'm done.
You're done, you're in.
Done.
Well, you're not-
So if, like, basically, if you're looking at 3%, like, you know, the ones that's been in there that were income qualified, going up like $35, like a household, basically.
A
Like,
month?
I mean, $30 a month, yeah, basically. But
Which
they're
made
paid around
good.
$1,000 now.
Pretty
They're doing
significant.
3%, because they're the income qualified house, because they've been up to around there, they're going up $30 a house, which is allowed at this point.
So
So,
what?
but the ones that are a little bit bigger will be like 35 to 40, the ones that are higher.
Yeah.
So, and that's the 3%. Now,
So, what's a two-bedroom now for?
two bedroom now is 16.
No, I mean, for the existing one.
Well, they're all over the place. There's strength.
They're like,
The
what,
one
like
we're talking
800?
about.
No, there's none of the 800 anymore. I think it's all, everything's at 900 more. The lowest is 905. 905. Not 800 anymore.
900.
905, I think is the lowest.
If I retire and sell my house, can I get a Borough one?
Sure, whatever you want to do.
You're the back of the list. Back of the list. Back of the
Maybe I
list.
could get one.
Yeah.
You know, being the mayor.
6 or 7 years, we'll give you a call.
He was already in a power home before, so he can get another one.
Back of the list.
But so, at whatever she's paying, 9 something and 3% is, what would that figure be?
That would be like $26.
Yeah, so-
I'm doing my math right? Like 26.
I mean, and again, senior thing is coming, big announcement.
Yeah.
That $26 might be,
But like I
Your
said,
idea is gonna cook mine, but I.
is that what you want to do? Is everybody good with 3%? Is that what we're going with? Like I put the.
I wanna think a little more about it, but I'll let you guys
Yeah, I'm
do it.
okay.
I would say let the committee meet on that.
Yeah.
All right,
My feeling is I think it's
and have it
okay.
ready for the next
Let the
meeting.
committee meet, have it ready, yeah, and then communicate it before the meeting, obviously.
okay, so we'll have the committee talk about it, and then I'll have a resolution on the thing, and I can always adjust the resolution, whatever amount you guys want to do based on the numbers itself.
Ryan, who is the committee?
Right now, it was Christine,
Trish, Bruce, and Christine.
Stacy, and
Jeff is
Tricia.
gonna be definitely one, I believe, because, that was
Oh,
20.
you love it, Jeff.
You know, if you
Jeff,
want, you
You
can
get like
take me
every
on.
job, you just
I
started.
don't need to be on
It was
there.
you, Stacy, and Christina.
Yeah, I really, I
Yeah.
can give that one up if you need to, put Jeff on somewhere. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, it's Christine, no, we switched them a couple times here, so. Let's see here. Borough, Stacy, Christina, and Bruce.
Bruce.
So.
Yeah, so Bruce, Trish, and somebody else.
Yeah. So,
So just slide Jeff in for Christina.
Well, wait a minute, did you move me back to police? Why don't you move me back to police and then
I
I
did.
will get off community center,
You're
or
already-
not community
I'll
center.
tell you
You're
what,
already on
Borough.
police, you're already on police.
I don't need to do that,
yeah, we're gonna
I'm okay.
not take up all the time now. What we'll do
Yeah,
is
I
we'll
mean,
get into these appointments a little later in the
Yeah,
year.
Jeff.
But at least, who you want them working on the committee that you want to work, what do you want to work on before the meeting,
I want
Yeah.
Jeff and Trish and
Stacy?
Stacy, but she's not here, I guess.
For the community center?
No, this is for
Oh,
Borough
this is
Homes,
for Borough.
just for right now,
Okay, all
until
right.
he revamps it,
Okay,
you want
yeah,
those, you three to work on the Borough Homes pricing.
You know, we don't get what we want sometimes in committees, so sometimes we get, so we're gonna work on that, right?
Yeah.
And then, but we'll have that by next meeting, right, Trish?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, moving on to the next one is the selling of borough assets, which is the selling of the borough homes that we have. So, we're really tight, like we talked on the budget multiple times, and like we sell a couple homes, we can get back into, next year, we're gonna start creating some surplus again, but this year, we're not going to. So I figured if we sell a couple of homes, you sell 3 homes, you're looking around like $500,000 to $600,000 that you can generate to put towards the surplus for next year, keep us, and we'll be still in good shape. But I was thinking that we send out a letter to all the people that currently are in the home and see if anybody wants to buy it.
You know, Ryan, I asked Ryan about that.
But we didn't know, that's the other thing I don't know, that was what I was gonna bring up. Not sure if we can do that,
Right.
because, but based on it being a public entity, you have to bid out for the properties. So do you have any ideas on this, Brian? Because that's why I wasn't sure where we could go with that.
So, under the public lands law, if I'm not mistaken, the tax assessor has to establish a fair market value.
Correct.
That becomes the base, if you will, from which I'm unaware of any specific condition that would enable a tenant to have exclusive rights to bid on a property. I could take a look, because it's somewhat
Unique.
unusual for
Yeah.
municipalities to actually own properties that are leased out.
Mhm.
But generally speaking, it would be a public auction, subject to the highest bidder.
And that's usually what the case is, so we can maybe find that out, what we can do, and I can get, but if it's okay to send out a letter to the residents, to see if anybody was interested in buying those rental homes now,
I would not do that.
not do that at all.
Well, it could be, you know, we're not sure how it's gonna work, but it would be open, you know, public.
They can bid, but so can everybody else. So
Right.
can BlackRock.
I would be very surprised if there is research or a case that I could point to that would enable us to sell directly to a current tenant
Mhm.
without putting it out to public bid.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how we sold them before with public bid and all that stuff, like, and certain, a lot of people in town gotten homes that, because we used to have 100 something homes, and they would auction off like a couple, like 5 a year, and some people in town would actually, that lived here, would actually bid on them and buy those homes and stuff, and that's how it worked over the years. I didn't know if we could directly ask them to do that. Could they do a own to buy, like rent to buy type thing?
I would
Because
never,
could that bypass the local public
I
contract law?
would never recommend that. 'Cause-
But then you become the bank.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The whole point is you need the
I
money.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Makes sense. So that's where we're at, but I would like to try to sell a couple. We have 2 that are completely open right now, Dan's house and, one on Horton and one on, where's Dan out in New Jersey?
I never did.
Yeah, New
That
Jersey,
Dan,
Yeah, New Jersey.
I've lived here a long time, and I barely know the streets.
Yeah, New Jersey and Horton, there's 2 empty houses there. So we have a third one on Pennsylvania we can't sell because it's an qualified house.
I take,
Let me ask you a question real
Yeah.
quick, John. I don't mean to interrupt you. So we're looking like we're going into a phase here, right? We're not just that, you know, getting out of trouble with money, right? In other words, are we looking to possibly phase out of the rental business? Like, maybe
I mean, I don't think you need to get out of it completely. I mean, like,
well,
what happens if the market, you know, the economy starts collapsing and we have these zombie homes again? You would want to buy some of these homes like we did. I bought
That's-
5 homes over
that
the
was my
last
idea, is that we sell this high,
10
and
years
then
ago. I bought 5
it
homes.
takes a crap, then we buy them low again.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? We can act like a competent landlord, not just like government employees. You know what I mean?
yeah, we bought 5
well,
homes
it
10 years
hasn't
ago.
worked out too good for us being landlords. I'll tell you right now, we're bleeding money.
Yes, we weren't competent ones.
No, not at
It's
all.
nothing about, the cost of everything is just going through the roof, and the things that, when I'm not pointing you out, the mayor, but when you were in the borough home, you did all the work on the borough home. Like you took pride in that, in the thing, not to say the people that live
30
there
years
don't.
ago, sure.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
They don't even know how to change a lint in the
My point
air
exactly.
conditioning unit.
No,
That had to be done by a handyman. That's the level it's got. And it's like, it's not like where, you know, you go in a home and you make it your own kind of thing. It's like, everything's gotta be taken care of by us as the landlord, which is by law, yeah. But these homes were be able to where you could fix them up, you could paint the walls, you can do things in these things.
yeah, it was a different world then.
Yeah.
And
So.
The internet has vilified landlords too. Vilified.
it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just moving ahead with that, I want to stay on this subject for a minute though. But moving ahead with that, can we restrict, flippers are our downfall here.
It's hard to restrict that because they still come with the same money.
No, what I'm saying is, we're not selling, there are homes, right?
Yeah.
We have the right to sell them.
The public auction thing.
But,
At a public auction, can we de-restrict it?
in other words,
No, you can absolutely
like
have
a 5-year,
restriction
like a
that the-
5-year,
Yeah.
can't move, you can't move. You can
It has
buy
to be
this home,
A residence for 5 years, yeah.
we sold a house here, it was flipped within a week and reflipped again.
Yeah.
And the guy went bang, bang, bang. sold for a lot of money, and now there's renters in there. And
Yeah.
that place looks like terrible.
Yeah.
So if we sell a home, one of the agreements are, you have to, whoever buys it has to live here for 5 years.
That's
Does
great.
that sound unreasonable?
No, that's great. That's
We would
great.
do that. Because then you're gonna get families, right?
Is that possible, Ryan?
Yes.
Then 100% do that.
Okay.
I like the idea of selling these, especially selling them high, right? Because we're getting a lot of money.
The
from rent.
market's very good right now, to sell.
I crushed them on the house I sold, and that thing was awful. You know, it's like, I think it's the right thing to do, especially since we need the cash. But I don't want to get out of it on the idea of the markets go crazy and we can pick up a house on foreclosure for a song, and we are then making, if we buy a house for $30,000-$40,000, you know, put 20 into it, and they're making $1,650, $1,700 a month, now we're smart business people as a town. We're still getting low income, and then we're making money.
So I'm just saying, moving forward, you would want to stay in the restricted area, like, of that, like, you know, the
Yes.
income restricted, not necessarily the rental business.
I don't hate the rental business because it should be money on the books. I just think we did it poorly.
It's, if we could get an cost analysis on it, which we probably could, it'd be a lot of work for Ryan.
Coffee houses on what though?
What it actually cost us.
Yeah, what we bought,
get.
a property, what we put into it, what the year over
Oh, no,
year is, and what
We
we
have
get.
that all on the system already.
Okay.
Like Christine actually revamped the whole thing and said, this is how much, like her report showed, this is how much rent is, this is how much it should be,
Yeah.
this is how much we're losing. Like she actually has it broken down
Yeah.
beautifully.
Is this
In
Yardi
all
Breeze?
the, in monthly report.
Yeah.
Is this Yardi
No, this is the thing she wrote up. It's on an Excel spreadsheet. She wrote up, it was like, this is what we're getting in rent, this is who paid, this is how much should be getting in rent, and this is how much we're losing. And she had at the bottom, it said how much we are losing in
We have
money.
to pay prevailing wage on things, right?
We have to pay for that.
Yeah, so we're getting crushed.
Does that take into account individual repairs or maintenance for each property?
It doesn't take any account to any individual, maintenance and repairs, no. So it only takes like what they're paying, what they could be paying, and what we're losing in value of the revenue that we could be making.
Yeah, maybe it makes sense to get out of the rent.
But it's not, we can go, we have like savings of all the POs of everything we do in any property. I can go over any file and say, okay, these are the things we've done over the years. And they have everything that was done in there, like painting and rugs put in, like what happens, we put that all in the file.
Could
So that's all
we,
we
could we, like moving forward, before we even get into a discussion, you know, because I was thinking like, set something up for 5 years, like a 5-year down the road, 3, or,
Sell 3 a year.
I'm just saying, you know, it could be.
The dogs especially. Because there's houses
Not
with dogs.
necessarily,
I just think we gotta
you
be-
get a better home, you get more money, right?
Yeah.
And they're gonna stay and they're gonna be part of our
But if
community.
there's houses that we're hemorrhaging on it, and houses that we're making money on, we obviously want to get one of the, you know, we want to get rid of the ones that we're hemorrhaging money on. Especially if, you know, we bought it for, you know, not that much, it will cost them, but we are gonna sell it to a family for a reasonable price, but make money, you know?
I just think we gotta be really cautious in how we approach this. Because when you're giving up control of a house,
It's
people you
rough.
have in there, and I don't think, even with the market going where it is, you're still gonna get people, they're gonna come in and be renters, maybe not flippers.
Yeah.
But they're gonna come in there, rent that, and even if you say you gotta live there, they're gonna put the person on the deed, they're gonna bring in renters, right? There's workarounds on this.
They're correct.
So they're gonna figure out their way to do this, and I think to plug a short-term gap for ignoring like long-term, what we have, stability within the town with those homes, I think is a big deal, and I think we need to take a lesson from what Gloucester City and where they currently are. and
Heavy rental, you know,
Extremely, around the
Yeah.
75% mark, we were told recently,
Yeah.
and it is destroying
We
the
don't-
town.
We don't wanna do that.
No, it's destroying the town.
it's nice owning what we have, and I still think the assets are still good as a town, you know what I mean, especially for our books, I think it's nice. But like, you know, if we have ones that are in a state where we're gonna have to put $100,000 into them with prevailing wage just to get out of the red, and now it's gonna take us another 20 years to make the money back, they put one hole in the sheet rock, now it's 21 years.
And it has to go to public auction, correct?
Has
It can't be listed,
But based
In
on
a
public
traditional-
contract law, it has to go to public auction.
because, you know, you're not getting typical
You can set the
homeowners.
price, at market
Right, you
value
can set
based
the
on the
price.
assessment.
Right.
But I'm saying, you're
You can
not
set
getting
the
typical homeowners to come and looking to buy a house at public auction.
Well, this is where the next step comes in, that when you go to public auction, when we did it, we put in the paper, this time you would need to talk to a couple realtors, get some buzz on these houses, these 3 houses, you're gonna do on the public bid on the same day, and then you get the people to tell their people that said, look, you can get it. There's so many people looking for houses that they can never get it, they're trying to put all the stuff. Look, you can come and look at these houses and try to get them and try to come out there. Because if you get the realtors to bring out their clients, they might not be, they're not gonna be developers or flippers. They're gonna be more people looking for an actual home, a forever home. And this is
The
not, it's a great
pre-approval
community for
is
a
a little
starter
different.
house and beyond.
If it's done correctly, but
Yeah,
I think it's
right.
scary. I think a lot of families,
That's a weird
not many
process.
families are like gonna go through that process.
it's a
Like,
weird
I would
process.
never go to a public auction, even
Your
being aware of
pre-approval
that to
is
buy a
different,
house.
you're doing that, and you think that you're bidding against BlackRock anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't think they'll come there?
It's
Well, just an
it's a
idea, I
weird
was trying to
market.
think.
You know, if you have very savvy buyers, but those very savvy buyers are usually sharks. You know what I mean?
But I was just trying to drum up some ideas,
I
to
like
try to
the
get more
ideas.
people to get out there to
Just
try
let's
to bid
start.
on them.
But, so wait a minute now, and I had conversation with,
It could be sealed too, right? They can be sealed bids, right? They don't have to be out.
That's what I'm looking at now, yes.
When I did the one,
was sealed bid.
on the other side of town, I needed to do a sealed bid.
Sealed bid.
And then it was basically, they open whatever one's higher, no matter what, they just take.
Yeah,
so we would do.
you set the
We
limit.
we would do, we set a limit and we would put a realtor. Now, I'm not saying, like, I understand what you're saying, Colin, and we need a cost analysis on, so we can see, your idea is great, Colin, to have these homes and, but what are they actually costing us here, And I'm saying opposed to selling them. You don't have to sell them all. but
You roll the dice
you
on
brought
the
it
sale,
in.
but
No,
you
you brought the
guarantee you
idea
lose
up.
money. Yeah,
Colin,
right.
Ryan, you brought it up. I'd like to sell 2, maybe 3. You're already, and that's just stopping the bleeding at this point. is what I'm
This just stops the bleeding for this year and then, we'll start building surplus next year.
So,
I
But to
do know
Colin's
based on my
Yeah,
forecast.
to Colin's point, and you're right, is more like, you don't wanna put a Band-Aid on a gaping wound because it's still gonna get infected down the line.
Right.
It's just gonna look now for a pretty good scene.
Well, I mean, right now we got 3 homes empty, right? So if we're not making any money on them right now. One has to be completely rehab.
Now, those might be ones that would make more sense.
Like, I mean, like,
But
I'm
then
gonna
again,
get,
you're gonna get a
our
flipper.
engineer-
you're
to
gonna
buy.
get a flipper to buy that,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's gonna
Especially-
guarantee be a rental.
Yeah, especially if it's not that reasonably priced.
It's gonna be a
or we have our engineer go through it and, give us what we need to be done. We fix it up. I'll try to get like, we can fix it up. We have money that's sitting aside and then we sell it for more and then we reimburse that money.
Personally, I think that's a bad idea.
With the reimburse the money.
No, to rehab it ourselves.
Rehab it
Putting bad money in.
Yeah, cause we gotta put it, we gotta pay for ground where they
Yeah.
don't have to pay for ground.
And you know they're gonna.
I'm
take
just
their
trying to
time.
come up with something like to try to get, but that's the other way to try to get more value out of it, but.
Yeah, government has to do everything on that way, on the up and up, which is a good thing, especially for the people working on it, but it's gonna cost us a fortune for something that. they would
But
do
somebody
the same
that's gonna
thing.
buy the house though, it's gonna end up,
They can do it themselves, you know what I mean, but
Well,
if they're a flipper, they're doing the
but
same thing.
a person that, somebody's looking for a home, they're not gonna want to spend money to revamp the home, you know what I mean? Like, you don't
Depends,
know.
but you're
You
right.
gotta get the right person,
Someone has done this better than us.
100%.
We need to find that person and then we need to get some advice.
When no one had
We have,
municipal owned,
we have that
like,
person.
houses.
In my opinion, we have that person, Christina.
Let's get her opinion on it.
Oh, she said sell.
I'd like that in writing.
She said sell.
So let me ask you a more complicated question then. Let's say, hey, we agree to sell 5 homes.
Mhm.
Yeah, people that are in these homes.
Well, I'm trying to get rid of the ones that know.
I'm aware of that, but you're saying we're gonna sell more than these. So who do you pick? How's that process go? Of you're saying, listen, we're selling your home out from your rental, but we're not selling the lady down the street.
Why do we say we're gonna sell more homes?
Hunger
Well,
Games lottery.
You were saying that two will fix this Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And then you wanna further this and kind of continue this trend. Where do we go? How do you pick that process? You said the HUD home can't sell, so you can't sell
I
that.
can't sell. I
So
have.
now you're only down to 2.
I
One's
have
a
a problem home
disaster.
I would like to sell.
But one's a disaster, so you're gonna get a flipper. There's a rental, another rental in town. Now we're facing that situation.
But
And then you have the other home,
And
and then you
then
have.
one home's gonna bring us out of our big budget deficit. I find it hard to believe.
No,
Yeah, what's
there's
Marlton
no
and
budget,
Morrison?
first off, there's no budget deficit, guys.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
But
No
selling,
budget deficit, I'm not going.
but selling 2 homes is gonna fix our financial problem. I find it hard to believe.
Surplus.
Not, just, there's no financial problems. The
So why
financial
are we
problem
selling?
is getting the surplus back up to a level that makes sure we can sustain our budget moving forward.
Why are we selling if there's no budget problem and these,
No, no,
And these-
problems in the current year.
but and these rentals are now being set at the highest point? Why are we going to get rid of them when they're at the highest point? We have people in homes, which I'm not suggesting taking them out. We have people in homes for $800.
Yeah.
We have 2 homes that are coming up, we're gonna charge $1,700, $1,650, and
Yeah.
those are the homes you're gonna sell.
No.
That we're making, yeah, because they're the vacant ones, so they're
It's
the ones that are
easier
coming
to
Some of
out.
them we gotta
So
spend
you're
$100
selling-
grand to renovate.
But you're selling the $1,700 rentals,
Yeah, but we have to pay $100,000 to renovate.
but you're selling our highest ones that we have right
I understand that, but
Is
we're
it
gonna
really
spend
100?
$100,000 to renovate. What's that?
Would it really be 100?
That's been the cost of like the ones that we got during the pandemic. So like, there was about, I'm not before the pandemic, like when the Domi homes in 2016, 15, 16, 17, when we bought those 5 homes that were really, really low, they were about $70,000, $75,000. So it-
Well, that makes sense.
definitely
If we're
25%
buying at
increase.
25 or, 30,000, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we bought them lower, we owe these things free and clear. I mean, it's.
Well, no, we bought them for like 40 grand back.
Yeah, which
You know
is
what I mean?
fair to put 70 into it.
Yeah. But, the,
I think we have to look at the numbers a little
all right,
bit.
so just so you understand the budget situation, like, when I talked about it before, it's like 950, because I got public here, I just want to make sure everybody understands. We had $950,000 in surplus. We're using $750,000 in surplus this year to fund our budget. That leaves to $200,000, right? Just the simple math. $200,000. We're gonna replenish $550.
If we
year.
sell, or
No,
we're just going.
before we sell.
Okay.
So then it'll be 200,000 plus 550 plus 750. If you use this year's budget for 750, which I want to bring it down to 650 next year, now you're gonna have $100,000 left over. You need to build up the budget a little bit just to protect your interest. If you sold 2 homes, say for 150 each at 300 grand, you're over $1 million, you got flexibility. It doesn't, you're not like, you're not hurting, you just don't want to squeeze. When I first started, we had like $50,000.
You want to be considerably more comfortable. And
Correct.
You did a great
Yeah.
job across the.
Yeah,
first 10 years.
we got it up to 1.6
You
million.
built a ton of money, yeah.
Yeah,
We had to
and
do
then
water, we
we've
had to
been
do other stuff.
bleeding for the last 3 years
Yeah.
because the pandemic killed us.
Yeah,
But
I think the
it
bleeding
just-
will stop, but you did a great job of building it up before.
Yeah, but now I can't do that right now if we don't have the ratables or once the cannabis facility gets done and we're gonna have that on.
That's a heavy
next year. That's
Yeah,
a heavy
that's a heavy
ratable, wholesale's coming in.
2%.
Yeah, there's wholesale's coming in, which is gonna generate another
Yeah.
maybe $150,000 to the town. That all starts for next year. I don't have that revenue coming in this year, because they're gonna be open, they got 4 months to grow, and then they won't start cutting till, October, so I might get a quarter, which might only generate maybe $100,000 from that, from the grow price this year. But, the following year will be a lot significant more. That's why I said, it's not like something I can continue to do. The 3 homes, that's what I was looking at, but if we don't wanna sell them, that's fine. I need direction to go, like, okay, I don't wanna sit on the house that you said can make $1,800. I could send John in there, get the architect plans, get it out to bid in the next month, and get done, and start working on the building, and get somebody in there in 3 months.
Can't we just do white paint over the outlets like other ones? There's a bug on the wall, you paint the bug in there.
I just think
But
we need numbers
yeah.
instead of just saying like, I think it might cost this, like, we need to know what that's actually gonna cost to make an informed decision. How do you
Okay.
get a decision?
Yeah, you're right.
No.
Construction is.
John, I'm gonna have you, call you tomorrow, we'll set up a time to go over to the one on Horton. And, you can walk through and write up what needs to be done, like, look at it, and then, we'll put some cost estimates on it, what we have to do.
Sure, I just have one quick question, Ryan.
Absolutely.
Have these houses ever been looked at before for lead and asbestos?
The asbestos, no.
Because
No, we had the dust wipe thing there, but that's the lead base, but not the,
In the basement,
asbestos.
the pipes that are.
The pipes,
covered.
they're covered underneath, I don't know if they would.
Also, underground storage tanks is another.
that too?
Well, the underground storage tanks are gone on all, except one I know of. The underground storage,
There's a tank now,
there's actually a tank that's underneath on one of them, yes.
we need to look at
Okay, well, that's fine, I'm just saying, I know there's one, but they still have oil leak. So so we can definitely look at that if you wanna look at that, and you can put that in your report, say asbestos got it cleaned up.
Yeah.
We're gonna put a wall, you gotta do all that. So I know it's all plaster. And you said it wasn't that bad though.
Which one? No,
The one on
no,
Horton.
no.
So maybe it won't be as bad as we just think, but we need to bring it up to code. And see, and we'll get pricing on that, and then I can bring it back to you guys to make a decision on what you wanna do based on that. And, but I mean, if you want me to start putting, to start working on the other house that's open and, put somebody in there now, I can. I just was trying to come up with a solution to try to generate some money for next year.
My main concern is, we just made this massive rental, plus here coming in, and the other ones, we just can't afford that it's not practical what we're doing, what we're getting. In other words, they're costing us so much. We need that cost estimate, what in fact we're getting back out of these rentals, is what I'm saying. Give it to the committee and let them look at it and say, it's costing us a year this much to maintain them homes, and this is how much we brought in. Period, right? That would be, I know it sounds difficult, but.
No, it's really simple. Like, I mean, you generate about 300 grand a year. We're spending about 180 on it
We
right
don't
now.
know, Brian, what we're spending. Like you say, we've done
We
rugs.
We do. We have a budget line that says $65,000, and I had $100,000 set aside. We've spent about $160,000 last year on our home. I can, it's very easy to do.
All right.
It's very easy to do. What I'm saying, but there's times that we borrowed money and capital to fix up some of these homes, and that adds to how much you spent. Last year, we used 100 grand in capital, 2-bedroom homes. The budget was 60-something thousand. So you spend $160,000, you made about 300. That's how much you spent. Well, that's a lie, actually, because I forgot about the handyman. You gotta pay the borough handyman. So that would be another 30 grand on top of that.
Okay,
So,
all right.
I mean, that's where you're at. It's not like it's quantifiable. Like, we're not,
And my
Leading-
main
but it's
thing,
still a lot of money it's costing us.
if we sell a home and somehow make it so when I was younger, as a carpenter, my whole life, I would jump on a house like what we're talking about there. And I did do it when I was a young man, got into that borough home, and out of my pocket, I put a lot of work into that house because it was our home. A lot of these people are renters. It's not their home. They live there. They don't care about a screen door. They don't care about getting up on your own roof and fixing, your antenna, which we used to have the antennas,
Mhm.
But you get a family or a person that has 1 or 2 small children and he can buy that home somehow. They're going to take pride in that, Flippers are they don't care. And I would say, if you sell a home and you can make it so now they're going to sneak them in, lock them up. That's what I say. But if you mandate, you got to live here for 5 years, if that's possible. Put that in the agreement, and someone says, I'm going to buy a home and I'm going to live there for 5 years.
It absolutely is possible. I think 5 is probably on the extreme end.
Okay.
2 typically is what I've seen, with the point being you want to discourage flippers.
Because we have right now, I'm trying to discourage it. Actually, Ryan has thrown my way that somehow there's people renting that haven't been here. We don't know that they're new renters. Several, right?
There's several.
So that's exactly what Colin's saying. And
We don't know our percentages. They say Gloucester is 75%. I don't know what our percentages are.
Gloucester is, if that turns into Brooklawn, forget it. Brooklawn's over. So we don't want a whole town of rentals, because rentals, they don't take, look at the town. We still have a nice town here. And I say, to encourage someone to buy their home and want to live there, I know try one, put one up for sale and restrict it for 5 years and try to get a family in there. And we'll get John to spot the sharks. That's all. When he sees a shark, forget it, I don't know what to say. We're just trying to come up with ideas, and we're spending hours and hours talking about it. But, it's something that we have to do. We either sell or we rent, borrow money to fix. I don't know. We're not in the building business and we're not in the rental business because we don't know what we're doing.
Do what you're good at, delegate the rest.
That's it.
Live my life by that.
I live by that because I don't know much and I'm delegating and everybody's getting it done. So That's how I feel. But anyway,
So what direction do you want me to do? Is continue to?
no,
engineer to go
if you
out?
wanna, no, that's a possibility, and I guess we have to do that.
I mean, what we could do, Mayor, is we could, talk to Ryan and, take a look at them just to make sure there aren't any major issues, structural issues, or issues that, could be asbestos or
Mhm.
Well, we
Any
need,
big
we
ticket
need a real
items.
estimate.
Yeah.
A real estimate.
just as a general
John.
ballpark to let you know that, you could be looking right away at $100,000 expense to rehab, so, we can definitely do that and just do it real quick. and-
We need a real estimate, yes. Correct me if I'm wrong, John. Like, our idea on this one particular home, so let's say, we're gonna renovate it and then we're gonna sell it for good money. We'll see what it's cost. Give us a good estimate, roofing, this, that,
Electrical,
yeah, plumbing.
yeah.
What would it take to get up to spec for a CO, for anybody off the outside to do it, to make it a quality home for somebody? Yeah, and you're right, we have to see the whole picture. Informed decisions is what we want to do.
All the facts that present to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
And now
we
you're
trust
talking
you.
about a 200 plus, maybe close to a $300,000 home with the way the market's
I mean,
going.
houses are selling like crazy here.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And so I'm gonna have them go into the two homes that are vacant.
That's
Do
fine.
both,
Right.
both to get a look, to get some good estimates on both of them.
Yeah.
So I can bring it back here at the next council meeting, whatever.
Let's make this clear here. Are we thinking seriously about selling two homes?
No.
We always consider all options all the
Okay.
time.
Yeah,
So that's a discussion.
At the high level, of Amazon, what they say is, I don't care who's right in the beginning. I just care that we are right in the end.
Perfect. Couldn't have said it better.
And like I said, this is not the only way we can generate the revenue to put back in the surplus. There's other ways. This is just one of the ways that you do it quickly. The other one is, like he said, put this $1,800 in a home now, and you're getting rent, you're gonna make $18,000. Like,
Yeah, but you're gonna have to put money in, so it's gonna wash,
Yeah, where's the ROI?
It'll pay off
Yeah,
down the road.
yeah, where's the ROI?
All right,
Okay.
and, you guys are,
No, we got the one thing that John wanted to bring up, and we still gotta open the public.
okay.
Oh, sure. Are we going around the room? All right. So I have some things. I'm going to preempt you for this. They're going to get weirder as they go. Okay. So we do have a meeting on the books with Roadway. Big thanks to Captain Brewster for bringing this up. If you guys remember, we were averaging like 35 calls a month. So over one call a day to the Roadway. That cut down to like 25 to 28-ish. Still not good, like to see that. I'd like to see something positive happen for town, whatever direction that goes. We have that meeting next week. Brian, you'll be there? Brian, I'm sorry. And so work through that. Two, the benches. So this was a Christine thing, but we had done it early on. So so this is my update because I was on Parks and Rec. Not to show Leslie note. And the benches for the park, now that March is over, we're, for the park of the school here, they will be installed. We have 4 and 4 pads. So Mike said that he could get to it starting the end of March, basically, once he finished that project. So now we're ready to go. That's gonna be next high level thing. Skip.
What happened, what happened with the pads? I remember there was like a dispute, like they said they weren't there or they weren't in the right
So,
position.
Well, we moved it, no.
Just keep asking questions until you get the answer that you need. We do have 4 pads. I think his confusion was saying that we wanted to have other ones in other spots. I said, just base it off the pads that we had built. 4 is good enough.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then we would have 2 for Memorial Park and then 1 floating. Trish and I also have the list of who had committed to them. There's a bowling alley that has committed to 1. There's some others that have already been sold that we just need to collect money on. That'll fall onto our team now to make sure that we do collect, but we do have the confirmation in writing that we will do these. So the ones that have been sponsored, right? So we are on that. So 4 in the park is my part. And then the community park, I think would come after. 3, Skip, great haircut.
Thank you.
4, I want to say that I had a new neighbor move into my town, and I think one of my favorite things about town is, I've spoken at a few of our graduations here and things like that, is like, this is an incredibly diverse town, and it means a lot. And it was just the end of Ramadan, and so my daughter was learning about that in school and things like that. And I think that's awesome, and I think it's really important. And I'm really proud of the high Muslim community that we have here and kind of how diverse we are. If it's possible, and I am a novice with all of their religions that I didn't go to school from kindergarten to senior in high school, but I think we could celebrate that a little more. I don't know how we do it. I think we're welcoming. I think we're open. But I think as far as that, I think we have a very good Muslim kind of population. I think as far as at least on social media, I think we should at least give a shout out for their holidays. And I think it's great. And I'm very proud that Alice Costello does it. And they honor those. You see, Kyrie Irving plays a lot better since he went to Dallas because they honor the things that he does that other people did not. He's injured now. We're not going to talk about that. But so I think that's great. And I think we turn comments off because this is still the online community is still very hateful. Lastly, and this is the crazy one, yours is going to be better because you're smarter than me, but we had this idea, and you had mentioned your senior idea, and they do need some help. Now, stick with me here. I was thinking, what if we did an adopt a senior? So we don't need the bulletin board with their little outfits on, nothing like that. We don't need to do that. But what if there was seniors could sign up, closeted, they might need some help here and there. Maybe they need their driveway shoveled. Maybe they need other little things like that here and there. Maybe they need a little bit of help, like, kind of water bill here and there. Maybe they do groceries every single day. Maybe they need a ride here and there. And I'm not one of those, let's take credit for our publicly good deeds. I think little kids do that, which is good because you do want to kind of establish that. But I think this might not be the worst thing to adopt a senior, and we put them out there, and maybe they get picked up. And then it's more like, wow, this is just a nice add to my life. Maybe they don't have grandkids that can come change it from HDMI 1 to HDMI 2.
We do have them here, yes, you're right.
We have a lot, right?
Absolutely.
And like I said, it could be changing it just to HDMI 2, and then you seem like you're just an IT wizard, right? It could be bringing in some groceries, Windows, a lot of names. But I think adopt a senior might not be the worst thing.
I tell you, I like the idea. I like the idea of having somehow, again, it's got to be organized. We've got to have people that want to help. If a senior, and it has happened to me, could you do me a favor? It's raining. Could you take me over to shop? Sure.
That's all it takes.
You know,
Yeah, I mean,
if we had some way of finding out, because a lot of them, seniors don't want to ask anybody. They're independent. You remember Tug's wife, right?
Yep.
She was 90.
Oh,
No one killed it, yeah.
Oh, she was amazing.
The sundress.
Yeah.
I picked her up going around the circle. She was almost up to her knees in water. I said, get in. She said, I'm not getting in that car. I had my van.
Yeah.
I'm not getting in that van. Come on.
The van with the mustache. She was a
She
smart
didn't
player.
recognize me. And I
Yeah.
said, I know, Tug, you remember me, right? She finally got in the car.
Yeah.
If we had something in place, and again, we have a lot of seniors, man, I would love that. And that could go on to the big news that's coming.
All right, good.
But I like that idea.
Cool.
Yes.
The title is a working title, but I like adopt a senior because people adopt highways. They adopt families like overseas, which is, probably a scam most of the time, but, it still, gives them a good idea. But I think Brooklawn, helping Brooklawn, I think would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I love it. You didn't cut an old person off on your car leaving, did you?
I tend to do that often, yeah.
No, I mean.
Even if I adopt them, I'll still do
I
that.
see a
But I
tender
would do
side
those
from
things.
you. Too.
Yeah. But I still would do, I think it would still be cool. The other thing, the school does such a nice job where, it's like, there's people down to do the adopted family, like around Christmas time. And time again, like this community comes together. Regardless of what we see online, which is all doom and gloom with the psychopaths we have here, it's like, they still show up all the time. This town shows up for each other. And like I said, I think the seniors would be great. If your name's up there, I'm not picking you up, because you know what? You're a handy guy. You should adopt me. But there's some other people, yes.
Right, I got you. Yeah. No, it's a terrific idea. I love it. Develop it. Let me hear it, you know, so if we can do something.
Is there an active senior club in town that meets regularly?
I don't know. I
Not
don't believe so.
We
and
used to have a
Not
thing like they
anymore,
call it
no.
director of
They
aging or
Gloucester.
something like that, but
I,
that moved on, we never had that person.
When I became mayor, I put it out there. I do believe it was the first meeting. I'd like to have someone step up. A few names came up, say, you know, and I approached a few seniors to head up just what you just said, a senior club. You know, we had the community center, and
Right, pickleball, no.
pickleball, we could have senior bowling.
Really?
Senior bowling, right?
I've been told that they have leagues on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
For real,
Yeah,
seniors.
yeah, at a very reasonable rate. They have, you know, some of the best single origin coffee that, you know, you can get there too.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So, to answer your question, no, we don't have a senior club, and I think if we could have somehow put on Facebook, which
I don't know how, well, I think some are, yeah, I think some are.
it's, and
Like
whatever we put on
PVC maybe.
Facebook, we gotta put on our website.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't do that, and so that doesn't work. And a lot of seniors, no, are not on Facebook, but the word does get around.
I think the direct mailer too, you know, kind of things like that, because they do love getting the mail because it's easy, they're used to it, they're comfortable with it, where I think some of the other stuff does get, it's hard to adopt technology as you get older. I refuse to do TikTok as a 36-year-old man. I refuse, I'm too old. You
I
know,
don't know what it is.
That's fair. I would expect nothing other than that response. You know what I mean?
Something maybe Pastor Amy may want to help with too, because he would know a lot
Maybe you
of
could ask
seniors
them, I don't know.
and people would be comfortable to go.
When we get to the part of the meeting, when you got, I'm gonna ask some seniors in here, we got a couple anyway. Some feel like seniors, and we'll discuss that, but right now, we're gonna move along. John, you got anything more?
Was it?
We're not into to that part to go around the table here.
You
but-
can, no, that's what it is right now. You can do that after you open the public, or you wanna do it before.
Okay, I guess we'll go right into it. Trish, you did speak a little bit on what's gonna happen, Easter egg. thing.
Easter egg hunt, right, that will be April 19th, that's the Saturday before Easter, and registration will start at 11 o'clock, and the egg hunt will start at 11:30 sharp.
It'll be done by 11:31.
And we'll be out. Easter Bunny's gonna make his, appearance, so ShopRite's donating the cookies and juice. And that's pretty much it.
And you got a big job ahead with this committee with the rentals.
Yes.
on the,
Yeah, we're actually gonna,
Right,
right, Gary Box?
yeah. Well, we're gonna work that out. Oh, Stacy's here.
I mean, hopefully we can have something for
We
next
were
meeting.
moving, we were getting requests to move some people around
No worries.
on our committees,
Mhm.
but we're anxious to get rolling on that, yeah. You got anything?
I'm good, no, just the
No.
egg.
I know you got some stuff.
So for the police, I know we ask consistently at this time, but just down at the riverfront, we've had numerous graffiti kids drawing on all the benches down there. I mean, I know you guys got bigger problems down here, but just drawing on Harry's down there every other day, trying to remove them down there. They're drawing all over tables, all over the new benches, which have people's names dedicated, including my father. So it is frustrating when you say it. I know they're kids, but it does get frustrating, you know, time and time going down there and just seeing it, you know, what's happening down there. I know we had communication, a lot of people urinating down there. My daughters are about 60 feet from it last time. It's frustrating. And I know you guys can't be everywhere at all times. I know you spoke at last meeting about more cameras down there, one that'll be able to, you know, maybe zoom in, things like that. So maybe something we have to have a discussion, but every year down there, it gets more difficult every year. So just as much as you guys can get down there, I know you have so much on your plate, but as much as you can possibly get, it would be appreciated.
Yes, sir. I have pictures. Harry sends me seven pictures a day. I have about 1,300 pictures to date. But yeah, somebody's, You contacted the,
Did you get the email?
no, I didn't get the, no,
I sent you, are you talking about the graffiti?
yeah,
removal
the
stuff?
graffiti.
Mike's gonna order it.
Okay, yeah, he did tell me that, yeah. I
And
didn't
then
know
he
you
also
could-
gave us some other tips of things. I told Harry, try some WD-40, start there and see if that works. While we're waiting for this stuff to
Yeah.
come, it's
I don't know,
good.
maybe someone,
I did the reviews, it's supposed to be really good and it doesn't, it doesn't soften it up or anything, so.
well, we don't know, like I said, we don't know what that product is. Some, oils can, you know, we don't know. Acetone, women use it for their fingernails, but it could be deadly on that.
Right,
You know,
I mean.
we don't
he-
know.
He sent me a whole list and I forwarded it to you.
Yeah,
So
It's
check
probably
it out,
Dawn
but
is
there's
gonna be
a
the-
couple different
pick
things that we can try, but he thinks this, sensitive, what was it called? Sensitive graffiti, something.
sensitive graffiti remover.
Yeah.
I already put an order in for it.
All right, great, thank you.
Okay.
See, hopefully it works, it's supposed to. The reviews are very good, so.
Stacy, you got anything?
I'm-
Oh, I'm
yes,
sorry,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I just want to clarify, so I know we made, and I asked Todd to make the post about the recent ordinances were passed, just so public was aware. But on that post, it did get stated that if there's turf currently existing, it needs to be removed, and I told Todd that wasn't supposed to be in there. So I did try and clarify online, but if somebody has turf that's currently there, we're not putting the financial burden on people removing that turf. The ordinance just states you can't install from here on out, was the purpose of the ordinance, so.
I have a list of the ones that have it already, so anything not on that list, it ain't gonna.
We have people that ask for turf.
We have 5 properties identified.
Mhm.
5.
Yeah, so the point is preventing it, obviously moving forward, but we're not, because I did have some residents that were upset that they have to remove it, but that's not part of the ordinance. They don't have, I wish they would, but they don't have to remove that.
I think it could be a problem, you know, if you tell them what they can do with their own, I don't know about that, right?
Well, no, it's also because of the ground, like, you know, I mean, would
Yeah.
you call that impervious coverage? To, like on, thing, because it's not grass. That's a violation of zoning.
Oh, they park on it too, that's what they do.
Well, that's what I'm saying, that's a violation of zoning. So
Right.
like, there's all kinds of different ways you can look at this.
Yeah, it's really a crazy world anymore. I mean, everything is, you know, crazy.
The pickleball court, we got the foundation up, everybody's seen it down there, it looks great.
Really good.
They're supposed to have mid-April, the glass is supposed to hopefully be installed. And then, you know, painting and stuff like that, so hopefully by May, we'll have hopefully that up and running, which is fun. The March Madness contest is online, so positive news. We currently have David DiNardo in first. I know,
Ooh, you beat out Brenda.
yeah, Brenda was running the thing for the longest time. But she's not far. She's only in fifth, so she's right behind him. We have Ralph Fish, Ben Majeski. My daughter Presley has no clue what's going on. She's
Crushing
in there. Sharon Harding, Matt DiNardo, all the DiNardos are in there. Matt DiNardo, Ralph Fish in second, Veronica Fish is in seventh, Juliana Sarone's in there, Cal McAdams, my son, he's falling off, and Daniel Alley, I think, is number 10. So we have the finals, the final four is this Saturday, so hopefully we get some, results there. I think it's just something that's been fun. People can follow online. It's been a little bit of competition.
The last 4 teams.
Final four Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah. And I do want to say Hugh Rafferty's in dead last, so I do want to say that. He's been there the whole time.
Good.
So it's been fabulous, yeah.
Shout out to Hugh Rafferty.
Hugh's been horrible, yeah. Noelle's right above him, and she's been so excited that she's had
I see him walking his kid to school, I'm gonna go.
All the time.
Yeah. And I want to say congratulations, Jeff. Obviously joining us, we're excited to have you. We appreciate everything Christina had done, but I'm excited to have Jeff on board.
Also, she has left the board because she moved.
She moved, yes.
It was not anything up here,
I told her she
needed
couldn't
more
leave.
space. She was unbelievable. Yeah.
I told her she couldn't leave, and Ryan corrected me. He said, "Mayor, you're there." So,
I'm good.
Stacia, anything
No,
you want to say? I mean,
I know we are still in the process of, the hiring process for, the police aspect. But no, happy Autism Awareness Day for those who celebrate, which we all should celebrate. Not only to be aware of autism and their needs, but also the acceptance and being inclusive to their needs as well. So that's a big thing for me. It's one of my passions for that population. So happy Autism Awareness / Acceptance Day.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah.
You're rocking my blue. I got it on the back of my shirt.
Yeah. Jeff, how about, you want to say something?
Thank you for the
Before,
opportunity.
you do have to run around here, and we're gonna throw paper clips at you. But, welcome, and, I know you do a good job.
Appreciate it.
You're free to say something if you want.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Sorry, I
Mayor,
can't make a
to my
phone
fellow
call.
council people, believe in teamwork. And I think, we will tackle these obstacles that come above us and beyond us, and we will accept the challenges that are ahead. And look forward to it.
Welcome to the team, Jeff.
Thank you.
We got a good crew here, a lot of thinking going on, we got a good crew, we really have. I want to bring this up, it's personnel kind of, but not a person, you're well aware that, I gotta mention her name, about Christina, wanting to start a business, her business.
Oh, you can say that.
Christina, Christina brought us out of the dark with the Borough homes, and she's done a tremendous job in this. It's called Yardy Breeze. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, you already used the program that we have.
I was told tonight that all's needed from you is to give the router number and the check number, and then we can start receiving money
Already got that,
through the app.
already done.
And I told her you probably did, so.
Yeah, it's already done.
And then this app, they'll be able, all the people in the borough homes and whatever, be able to pay online. We're going to eventually get a kiosk, right, out there?
Yeah, that's already ready to go. That's
Okay.
coming soon.
Yeah,
We're gonna have a
people
kiosk
can
out
come
there.
in, anyone can come in, and pay a bill, water bill and things like that, which again is great. Along with this app, it just tracks everything. She's gonna send a full report to me when I can't really speak of it. I know that it's online and we're right there to start it. And I think you might have.
I've been on every single, we're doing it like 5 weeks. This is the third week we've been,
Right.
On every Wednesday. We, get some information and learn about the program, going through it all. You can scan in all the POs we were talking about, all future stuff, at least get scanned in. They have access to see everything.
That's good.
So they can actually go and look at their account and see their account at all times.
Right.
But on the back end, we get to see everything also. It tells them what's in arrears, if they're overpaid, like, and all this stuff, it automatically, like, it takes but we have to, every time there's a late notice, we have to put it in the system. We have to actually create the batch, and we have to do it if we forget or something like that. This one's automatic.
Yeah.
It would just say late fee will hit you the 15th, no matter what, done.
Right.
And it's like, and it takes it all out of your hands. You can't manipulate it. That's what it is. So,
Can we, is there tracking, let's say if we were to forgive a late notice, is there tracking in there that we did it?
yes.
Good.
Yes, if you waive it for some reason, but I always say if you're gonna waive something or take something off, you should have council approval anyway.
Good.
Like, because like anytime you have to pay any refund back, you have to get it.
It's saving a ton of money to, a ton of work, and it's free. That was the beauty part about it.
They take a piece of the processing.
$3,000 a year.
Well,
Oh, yeah, that's not bad. Do they take a piece of the processing, like, do we make less rent off it?
No, so it's the same thing. We have, municipalities aren't allowed to, if the taxes are taxes, so when they pay tax, when they pay the credit card, the tenant is responsible for, same thing for taxes. It's the tenant is responsible for all fees on the credit card, but you could do an ACH. So, and it's only $1.95 fee, just like it is on online payments. So it's a good program. It sets up, it goes directly into, I get a report, It does add a little bit of work because it doesn't integrate with Edmund's system, which will create more work for me to put the thing, but I can do it once a month, do a journal entry and be done with it. It's not gonna be that crazy.
So it leads me into the discussion that Christina has started a consulting company. I asked her, and I asked Ryan, and I'm putting it out to council right now. I asked her if she would stay on, even though she's moving out, to stay with the Borough Homes. She's really nailed kind of everything down. She
Very helpful with the legal aspect and.
Along with that, I had mentioned that there's a possibility that we may consider maybe selling a home or two, or who knows how many. She said, I could very well take care of that. I would handle all real estate people, all, if you're gonna sell a home, she said, I think we could work everything out, the closings, everything. She would take care of it. It's connected with the Borough Homes. No work was needed from us other than approvals, I guess. And she would handle any legal problems she has. Her lawyer with is I don't know, I can't remember his name.
He's the premier lawyer.
The premier
Yeah.
real estate.
Everything's online for them now.
Yeah. So I approached her and she agreed to help out until the app came and was helping Stacy and you guys out. But when I asked her to stay on, she came up with the idea of starting an LLC, insured, and she would take this and take the responsibility out of the borough's hands completely, with the exception of maybe Missy corresponding and you know.
And taking all, to get all the emails, but if anything has to be renovated, she would handle with the handyman daily because she has to direct the work orders.
And I wanted to speak on that too. We want to keep Missy in the loop as far as like Bruce ordering, you know, stuff. And we had a little issue today. So Missy's going to be the contact person for anything that's being bought through, like what Bruce's needed paint and, you know, we have accounts plate in Home Depot and things like that. Anyway, I'll get into that later. So she came up with a bid to take this off the borough's hands. She wanted $1,500 a month. I was thinking 1,000 a month. Now, I don't know, I'm putting this out to council. You guys know what how complicated it gets here, dealing with, she would be dealing day to day with late notices, you know, all the stuff that we, you know, they come here and we deal with it. So she's proposing she could take this off her hands. She wanted 1,500. She said it is negotiable. Will move on that. And I said I asked her a month ago if she would give us to the next council meeting, so which would be the end of April, right, the 21st. But let's say she'll give us till April. She would like to run it and be paid as an LLC. I passed it by Ryan here, and we had thoughts on it. And would it behoove the borough to hire her to take care of all this, or not? So it's going out to council. She would like to know by the next meeting, and if she does, we would have some kind of something done legally.
Yeah, the contract.
There's a resolution.
So,
I think it's ROI there. I mean, I think we were really bad at this, right? I mean, like, the reason that we did this is we're not really like business people in here. We're like good at what we do, but we don't do that. You have an expert now doing it.
yeah,
So you're good at delegate the rest, right?
yes,
She did all that in like a few months,
Right.
right? And we had this for, years, I think she'd be excellent. I think I would like to see, how many late fees did we get in the past? Like, we'd have to run numbers on what it was before her and the numbers after, like her stats, you know what I mean?
right, I think, yeah,
And then if we could have that, then I would say that it's one of those, she would be almost like incentive based to get the second year deal, like they have options in pro sports, so it'd be like, maybe you get 1,000 a month, for this year, and then it's like, if you hit these certain thresholds, you go right to 1,500, and then, we go from there, like a 2-year deal. But I love the idea, and like, but I'm not sure if we're too skinny as far as our staffing and personnel here, or they're pulled in too many different directions, or it's just not the skill set of the people that had it. So I'd have to see all that, but I don't know the office that well. But personally, I think that if we could make more money off this than we ever have, she's already put us in the right direction, so she's already sealed the deal.
She's had one.
Highly confident.
Yeah, she had one incident, right, that was benefit to the borough. So.
She was undefeated when she did it,
Right.
so, I think I'd be very open to it with an incentive-based kind of like performance thing, maybe after year one, like a rookie contract kind of thing. But I think it's cool, and you can clearly see how confident she is.
Right.
It would be better if we could, but if we just can't, then we have to be able to admit when we're not good at things.
I would say, I'll tell her at our next meeting,
Well, what does everybody else think? Well,
Well, what I was gonna say, we would get some information from her, a little more than what I'm telling you. Of course, what she can and can't do. So, I could lay it out there for like next meeting, and then you guys would decide, or I could have her, we could contact you with counsel with her and let her present her, I didn't want to lose her, at least until the next month, so she agreed. She's not paying us back, we're not paying her for this month until April is what I'm saying. So,
And she was on the call today too.
yeah, she's been here a couple of
Learning the
times.
majority thing. It's not like she's doing nothing. She's actually doing stuff now without getting paid at all. So
Yeah,
just so you know.
it's a shame. I tell you, I really miss her because, she's scary because.
She is, yeah.
She's scary. Like,
She is.
no, you're doing this, and she's got Ryan like sweaty.
Is somebody's salary within the borough tied to borough homes? Like, does that affect anybody within the borough
Well,
if we make a
that's
decision?
where you have to figure that out. Well, this would be a vendor-based thing, so it wouldn't have to change salary, because she's not getting paid because she has an LLC, so it will be a vendor. So you're paying a vendor to do the work. So she won't be technically an employee. So
essentially, it's like property management.
Yes,
She'll be
that's
under
your property,
property
yeah. So you just need a resolution.
So,
You don't really need a resolution to do it, but I would suggest that you do it like for the contract itself.
right.
But there is somebody in the office that is tied to that, yes.
And would that affect their salary?
That's up to you guys. Like,
Yeah,
like,
no,
I would think,
definitely
like, I
It
mean,
depends on if
You
they
would-
do
But
something
I
else. on
read
there.
Christina's proposal. It's not the full package. I understand she would be like the property manager, but she wouldn't be taking any of the phone calls for maintenance and that type of thing. So we would still need somebody
Oh, definitely.
no, she's still doing it, yeah.
within to handle it. So it's not the full package. It's I guess, the really
I should
important
say that,
stuff,
like-
but the maintenance and all that kind of stuff is also important.
Well,
So-
she would be the one who would, report, I guess.
No, I believe in her thing, it says that those type of calls would have to come through here. She would just be specifically for collecting the rent and managing that part of
She did say it was negotiable.
Yes.
it, okay?
That could be a part that's in there.
I mean,
well, she's not gonna tell you daily, she's got to earn her job, she's not gonna be able to take the call, but she'll take an email. I think if they email something like, have a question to her, I think she'll answer those. I think that should be a part of the job. But like I said, if somebody calling for a leaky sink, I mean, Missy's gonna be able to do,
Well, but I
she
was
can
under
get
the
that quickly
impression
done
that
than the other one.
she would just be completely barren. So, but that's not how
Christina?
Christina would just be, and nobody in here would be dealing with it at all. Originally, that's what I thought.
That's a good point.
Can we have the individual present what she is going to be doing, job duties wise?
Yeah.
Because I hate to vote or say an opinion without knowing what, because Councilman McDonald makes a great point.
Yeah, and-
What is her responsibility going to be?
I think what we should do, or will do, is, set up a have her present what she's going to do, what she's not going to do, and how much, that I think, could we do?
I think that's a good
Would that
idea.
And
have
then
to
give
be,
you pie in the sky ideas of like, what else you would like to make go away. Yeah, because I
Right.
think that's a great point. It's like, are we still gonna be getting those calls and then making the other calls? So then what are we really doing
And
the other 29 days of the month? Yeah, that's fair.
plus she can show us, or you guys, she can show you guys what she is actually does do,
Yeah.
and all that.
And your concern, I believe, is if she was an employee, whether she had to voice notice, it should be a contractor, so it's separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
That's why I
I'm
said they can
saying,
talk about it now, that's not an employee or anything.
I was wondering, can she come in and do it at the, an open presentation?
I think that's a wonderful.
And then at the end of that meeting, or the end of that because she was, I guess if she's hired, she would want to move on from that point on. So somehow and we could do that, after or during whatever.
You want. Do it in the
I'll bring
meeting.
her in the next meeting,
Bring her to the next council meeting on the 21st.
give us a presentation, and it'll be a yay or a nay.
That's great.
Okay, done.
Can I ask, like, Ryan, what are your thoughts on it?
What's that?
What are your thoughts on it altogether?
Well, the mayor and I talked about it, I mean, financially, I'll figure it out, but, that's one
Well,
problem.
that's the
That's one problem, right,
caveat. How can we afford that?
Yeah,
Because we still have to pay, if it seems like we're still going to have to pay, Missy, because Missy's doing it, we'd still have to pay her, and then now we're paying for the council service, and then that system aspect as well. So now we're having more money that's going out. So number one, is it doable financially for us?
financially, I'll figure it out, but there's ways around that, financially, I'll figure that out, but when it comes to the work though, the mayor suggested that could be different, we could pivot the job description and do something else that we can add to the job. We haven't figured that all out, we haven't ironed it all out, but there is options out there that the mayor has suggested that I think could work. But, like I said, I don't want to bring anything in until I know.
So we know what exactly.
Plus,
Yeah.
the employee does not know that yet,
Mhm.
and when I'm going a little bit off book here, so
Gotcha.
with that, so it's not really where I want to put stuff.
Gotcha.
And plus, Colin and I had some discussion on this, and with Ryan also, possibly there's some cutting to do. In the monetary, there's
Areas.
ways to cut money.
It doesn't mean salaries, it means other things.
Did I say the right thing?
Yeah, I'm just saying, I just don't want to, because before you want to hear that and say like,
No.
they're gonna get fired, so I just want to
No,
say, it could be just for other options out
And
there.
it's a nasty rumor that I have.
So I'm just clarifying. People
I
listen.
fire people, that's the rumor. But no, but I'm saying, we had discussions, there's areas that, definitely can be, cut or.
Or modified.
Modified, I like it.
Modified might be a better way.
So, yeah, so.
More
we'll
efficient.
We'll take one step at a time, we'll see if it's feasible. Either way, I'm happy, we can still get it done, or, like I say, maybe it'll be worth doing it the right way, from afar. I have one other thing, I have a question, and it's the community garden. Community garden's complete, it was done all by grant money, beautiful. I just I have a fear that when you call it the community garden, my idea of a community garden is I'm gonna have 4x4 spot, I'm gonna grow corn, peas, sugar beets, and that's my spot, don't go near it. You can have that spot, that's not what this is. This is a ultra-modern, nice-looking area that's really small and not meant to be a community garden, more more like 3 or 5 people involved. I mean, I don't know how we're gonna move ahead and when, it's springtime, so we gotta move ahead if we're gonna utilize it. So, I want everybody to think about how we can move ahead and strike the community garden type, concept because it's not set up for that.
I wonder if it's something we could tie into the school
That's
that
what
would
I was
allow the
thinking.
kids,
Schools or some
kids at club an
organization.
opportunity to go down there
I
and
think they're hatching chicks right now,
Do
so
that,
we'll just
yeah.
turn them into,
throw them in there.
farmers, that'd be unbelievable.
Yeah. But I think maybe partnering with the school a little bit, getting some kids down there, get a community club, allow them
That's
some
a great idea.
incentivized
Great
things.
idea.
It'd be great for the kids to
So,
be involved.
yeah, teach them, that, like I say, in school will be out in June. And so somehow we're gonna tie it in with, we gotta find someone who's what do you call them? Just call a person that could lead that garden. Farmer?
Green thumb, someone with a
Gardener?
green thumb.
I'm out the bars.
Huh?
I'm out the bars.
Yeah.
It's true.
Harry.
Not the
Harry?
bars. But we're not going to
Harry.
bars.
No, we're not.
Poor Harry.
Anyway, no, that's a great
She
idea.
would be a good resource.
But, definitely, I want you guys to put your heads together and see if we can come up with, a couple ideas. I like that fact that your mom, flowers.
I mean, she might not want to go, but
If there's anybody else within the
In the
community,
community. We
within
need
this
somebody-
town who loves gardening, who would have input, it would be greatly appreciated in this kind of a
Can we put
situation.
that in the
So,
newsletter or something?
anybody out there with
Yeah,
a good
newsletter.
green thumb,
Yeah,
yeah, I
we
appreciate you guys coming on out.
I've kept
Are we
4
bringing
house
that back?
plants alive for 6 months. I mean, I'm as qualified as any botanist,
My money tree is growing like crazy.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious, I got a money tree. It calls the money tree. I don't know what that is. All right,
well, let me know if you want me to reach out to the school.
you can reach out to the school. I can talk to Sam, but yeah. if you,
Colin. I'm the representative, remember?
Perfect. You do it.
Remember, I'm saying,
Better
remember?
yet. That's you.
I should wrote it
All
down.
right, I'm out. Good.
Cash, while we're on the subject, would you like to take the position of the seniors and start heading up our seniors group?
I'm not that old.
I know. You're more than smart.
Yeah, you are.
You know everybody.
I'm laughing with you.
Cash, you'll have help, I guarantee you. If we can contact, I'd like a list of all the seniors, but that's almost like, I don't know, I could get that.
I don't know, there's no ages,
Just
like,
check like names.
Huh?
I don't think I've ever seen an older Kyle, so I would probably check that off, you know what I mean? But I think the names. Yeah, Gretchen is definitely not like a little kid to me.
Cash, would you like to take that?
Let me think about it.
Okay, next meeting, I want an answer.
I think Mr. Amy may want, he may be interested. He's very proactive with the community. And he would know seniors in need.
Who?
Pastor Amy. I think
Pastor Amy does a lot.
No, but he would know a lot of seniors though, that
Well, we should have.
may
a
not
list of
necessarily would
seniors
say
that we-
anything, but you could approach them because,
Yeah, we're not.
well,
Okay, all
it's
right,
relevant.
we're gonna go out of this, we'll go into public briefly real soon. What else do I have? I have one thing, I spoke to John, our engineer. We have a problem with urinating and other down at the waterfront. And I was talking to John and I said, we gotta come up, we have to do something this year, Ryan.
what's that?
And I'd like to talk about it a little bit, John. And we were thinking almost immediately, we gotta get porta potties down there, I think. And then where do we put them? So I was trying to come up with, talking with John, like a portable area, like a trash dumpster area, like a concrete floor, maybe 2-sided, 3-sided, put it back off to the side somewhere, and we could put 1, 2, 3, depending. I think we need and soon, we need some type of facilities. Porta potties, I think, is the only answer right immediately. Mike, if you got anything to say about that,
I mean, we did just allocate that no parking area, but we lock them up at night, then what? So it's okay
you
to,
don't lock them up. Oh, yeah,
That's-
you lock them up, no, they're not able to be hanging around there anyway.
right, but my thing is, it's like park closes at, let's just say dusk,
9.
right? Okay, so 9 o'clock. So somebody has to be responsible for locking those up. So
Is
But
that
then they
long-term
do that.
sustainable porta potties?
What's that?
Is that long-term sustainable? Or like if you have a giant on the spot, they
I don't
kind
know,
of take them back?
or what do you call it? Cooper River, one of the most premier parks in Camden County is, you utilize porta pots for
They do
as
have,
long as I've
Oh, yeah?
been.
well, no, I'm saying they do have the type, they're air conditioned, they're clean, they have running water.
Well, that's something that we would buy on ourselves, and
Well,
that,
I mean, you know,
those units are, you don't wanna rent them, you wanna buy them, they're like,
you know, they're like nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm just saying to keep the guys off the field with their back turned while you got kids down there. We gotta do something.
and then we gotta look at handicap accessibility and some other things like that, so there's elevated porta potties, like with the rentables, the big high
Yeah,
ones,
up on that thing.
we need to be careful with
I
that.
don't know if we
for
need
ADA
that,
compliance.
But like I said, the reason I said, to John, maybe have a concrete pad and almost like an area that, you know, if you had to, you can come in, wash it out, contain them, maybe up near where the water coming out of the ground there, the valve, where the old shed used to be.
Yeah, we can allocate a parking
Put
area
something
for it or
there.
something like that, yeah.
Close to the curb and handicap accessible.
I think the bowling alley has what you're looking for. It's
Yeah,
like a- yeah.
Yes,
that-
that's what I'm
But
talking
is
about.
this like a sustainable long-term solution? Is that what council's kind of looking at? Because I can work with John on
No,
kind of coming up with
No.
something in that area.
A long-term solution would be a sewer line running down Timber Boulevard. That would be the solution.
Right.
And that's $1 million job. So,
I just think, you know, and I know it's been my issue because I've had 10
no,
people
it's,
here.
listen,
But I think it is a concern.
it is,
The porta pot going down there is also a concern. We had one down there in the past for a while, and we had a ton of people that were going to the bus stop. They would come down, they would do drugs in the bathroom down there, and then head back down to the bus stop. And it was a nightmare for some of the residents that were down there. I know we're right there. But I know, particularly for choosing that location by the thing, you're putting it right next to that property on the end. And there's gonna be people in and out of that porta pot with the house right there. I know, if I was near there and I owned the house, I'd be complaining.
not
Yeah, that's
necessarily.
tough.
It's,
Like I think John said, or
No,
Mike,
we could,
you got the parking.
Walk out there,
Yeah.
oh, and I have an area in mind that can be utilized and not be near any of them easily, so.
well, how do we stop?
People should be arrested for being down.
How do we stop now the people coming in
I
and do
almost got-
drugs? How do we
You
like,
gotta lock it up, you
Yeah,
gotta be locked up
this way.
after hours.
but at
lights in it.
noon, they're down there doing
I
drugs.
can't, you can't control.
Come
I
on,
know, so I mean, are we opening ourselves up to a
business.
bigger problem? Is my question.
100%, anytime you put anything anywhere,
I
you're
just
opening
had a
yourself up.
board
So
tell me
especially a
where
porta
to
potty.
go, and who's gonna maintain it. 2 days ago, he came and peed on my neighbor's tray. They were playing down the street, I yelled at him, I said, go use your friend's bathroom. So now we have little kids doing it too. They go down there and play basketball, and they come up in the big tray out in front of Sherrod's, that's the
It
bathroom.
is tough because.
Tell me needs a good
It's the
Yeah.
bathroom now, and I'm not even
No, I
afraid
know.
to say anything anymore, because it needs to be said, that is, I don't care that the kid's 9 years old, 10 years old. Like, I get it, you gotta go, but stop peeing on trees, like, I totally get it. And, I mean, I have a porta potty across the street from me, for that new house, it's back out on the thing again.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Chris, Tricia, my concern is though, we got a lot of people down there. Are we obligated to have something down there?
You should, because what else are they gonna do?
right,
They're gonna go into the.
you gotta
Yeah.
get it right.
Exactly,
Yeah, what else are you gonna do? You have to have it, yeah,
Right.
or you're not gonna play down there, like, there's no place to pee.
so
That's tough.
are you talking about the parking area?
Yeah, I have a spot with, if John wants to get a hold of me tomorrow or later on this week, him and I can carve out an area and then present it to council.
John, what do you, any thoughts?
I mean, I could certainly catch up with Mike tomorrow.
I'm saying, any thoughts on maybe somehow containing it with, if you put it there, you don't need a pad, it's all blacktop, yeah.
I mean, there's benefits to screening it, but then there's also security issues to screening it as well. So it's something that I guess the council would have to decide on, you know, to what extent you want to kind of, like I said, Mike and I can take a look to see, put them in a non-conspicuous spot. But to do a full screen, maybe after, you know, hearing.
We can put them in an area that's utilized along with cameras and lighting.
Got it. I think we definitely have to make some arrangements with them cameras.
It's fine. John, do you want to meet with me tomorrow?
Yeah.
You can even call me and we can go over GPS, I can show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah, sounds good.
And we will vote on that next meeting.
Well, we don't know what we're gonna end up with,
He would come up with something, so
Yeah,
I guess
we might
on
get a
paper,
pad or
kind of showing what it looks like. Yeah.
but I think it's important.
Yeah.
Because that's one area where
Very
we require
good.
a pad.
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely important. I know there has to be a solution. I would be a no on it when it comes up, just because I've seen it firsthand what happens.
Is
But
there
what
a
do we
certain
do?
number?
I don't think
know.
you're stopping
I
drugs,
don't
like,
know.
that's happening.
I don't know.
Should we
the
Should we put them back on the field where they're gonna pay anyway, or?
Trough, you know, trough, you can't have drugs.
Well,
in the
When it
trough.
floods out there, it's gonna float away. I'm not taking out the floating arm. And there's no way for trucks to access it back in the field. They cannot be on grade.
Yeah.
I have
All
a
these
spot in
rules.
mind if you want John and I to take a look at it tomorrow,
Yeah.
and then he can present something.
We've
else.
gotta do something.
Sounds like-
What's good about this too, is if it doesn't work out, we just get rid of it. You know what I mean? It
And
just,
then we need
The
grant
Porta and
grant money
Pontiac
to
can't
put
afford
a proper bathroom down, that's what we need.
Yeah.
Grant money.
And poor Harry's gonna be cleaning the bathroom.
Let's all just kill ourselves, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
You'll be getting pictures of a
scratch
bathroom.
that one from the record, we love you, Skip.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. I gotta tell you a little story, then I'm done.
Poor Harry.
I worked high-rise, construction. And high-rise construction, you still have to go to the bathroom. In the high-rises, they have porta potties that they roll in, and they go up the elevator, and they go on one floor. Man, women, boys, kids, anything. Problem is when you go into the porta potty, it's only comes up to here. No, honest to God. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but every high rise in America, like I worked in New York and I worked in Atlantic City. Atlantic City had them all over. Now, on them jobs, you had women. And a lot of women carpenters, a lot of women painters, so you got men and women in one area, side by side. My first experience on there, I had to go to the bathroom and I'm on there and there was one empty stall. Now, again, they're like half and open, like, you could look, right?
Oh my God.
So now this is true. Now, this is how far we've come. Now, how do you get a porta potty? How do you get a porta potty up in a high rise? You can't. There's no facilities. So that's what they are. They're all over the country. My first experience, I was early on in my career. I'm sitting there going to the bathroom. There was other men around. And this painter woman came in next to me and sat with her. She had coveralls on, white coveralls. Hey, how you doing? And this is on YouTube, and we're gonna get a laugh.
like the greatest thing ever.
But oh my God, no, you had to. Yeah. She went to the bathroom and was making noises and all kinds of things. I'll tell you, it was an experience of my life. So when we talk about people,
There you
pay,
go.
Yeah, it's all over.
There you go. Skip, that's
I
the
like that.
solution.
That's a solution.
Two half walls.
There you go.
Two half.
anyway, I'm done. I'm done. So, but I had to say that it was a very. I had to get that out because it was terrific.
I'm glad you did.
All right, where are we at on this?
Go to me and you can
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. Memories. Chief Captain, you got anything going?
Just a few things. Sorry to hear about the criminal mischief down there at the park. Please report it. We'll take photographs. We'll investigate it to the best of our ability. April 7th meeting, set for Borough Hall, and April 19th at Eastern.
What time was it?
The PD will be on board. And
You going?
morale's good and everything's good. And
What time's that meeting?
10 o'clock, sir.
Their place, right?
Right here.
Is it here? Oh, okay. All right.
I'm trying to maneuver like people around, patients around, if I can. I don't know, is there can I log in somewhere if that's possible?
I can try and work a virtual option.
Okay. Again, I'm still working on my end,
Motion.
but I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
Zoom thing, yeah.
Mhm.
Mike, you got anything?
Ball field sprinklers are up and running good. We had to make probably about $500 in repairs. Ball fields are good. Hydrant flushing is going to start middle of April. We'll put notification out in the Gloucester City News. along with Facebook and our website. And the benches are gonna go in right about the middle of April.
Okay.
So besides that, grass, everything like that, equipment being put away, changed out, cleaned, stored, framed.
What about the sprinkler heads popping out of the ground at the Memorial Park? Did you hear that? They're sticking out of the ground, people on steps.
Didn't hear nothing about it.
So,
Somebody heard something about it, just wasn't there.
yeah, Bruce told me. So I don't know, maybe you gotta talk to him or find out what's going on there.
No problem.
Cass, do you have anything? I'm kidding.
No,
I'm
I
kidding.
do. I have
I'm
two
kidding.
things.
Ryan, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine, you're fine. Captain, so they had, they want to talk about putting more cameras down there. I was in the police station, are all our cameras working right around town?
Correct, sir. Some of them need to be reset. So I'm going to the community center, reset a few that are down, they go in and
Yeah,
out.
I was looking at the thing, I didn't see some things that were saying offline and stuff.
Sometimes after a storm, it'll come offline, but shopping center, town cameras, good to go. Roadway gave us 24-hour access. But the cameras are good to go. The only ones that are an issue that are down are the ones that are on the timber that we're tracking. Trying to get Frank in for a quote so we need that pickleball.
Well, that's what I'm saying, if we can, is Frank returning your phone calls at all, or?
No.
He's not? Yeah, 'cause I know he started another business, so I just wanna make sure. So,
I don't know if we have an alternative solution, for somebody to tap into the cameras, or if Frank's our guy, but, I'm not.
well, Frank's the guy to set it all up. Try to reach out to them one more time. You don't get them, then, 'cause like we wanna get a quote, that we wanna get some cameras down there now. I mean, we have a 8-channel one, we only got 4 cameras on, we can put 4 more down there, running into the well house, and still be fine. If you don't get a hold of them over the next week, let me know and I'll,
We'll get
start
someone else.
looking, we'll get somebody else.
Okay.
So,
All right.
get it done, cause it's just, cause I'm sure any video guy will be able to work off the channel stuff, so.
I just had somebody recently, stop in my office in regarding cameras, so I can pass along his information to you, and he's local as well.
Yeah, it's heating up down there.
Is this Frank?
It's heating up.
No, that's the other Frank.
Yeah.
Not
So
that
he
Frank.
does all
Not that
internal
Frank.
and external camera work.
This guy's done like stadiums and stuff like that, so he's good. What is it? Friday, it just happened to be we have an issue, both employees have something that I can't foresee or anything, and I'm not around. So we're not gonna be open on Friday, this Friday only. We have a conflict. One's got a competition, and one's like, using a vacation day, and the other one's got something they have to do. So the 2 people that are working on Friday, and I can't cover because I'm not around either. So we're gonna have to close on Friday. I just want to give everybody a heads up on that for this Friday.
Just post it everywhere so people know.
Yeah. I just want to be aware. I don't want everybody to not know that it won't be open Friday. So that's what it is, but it can't be helped. I can't do anything else to change this, so. You're saying?
We have 3 employees.
Yes.
All 3 are right now?
No, one works Monday through Thursday.
Yeah, but
And the other ones work, one works Monday through Friday, one works Monday through Thursday, the other one works Tuesday through Friday.
okay.
So there's always 2 people on every single day. It just so happens like,
We need at least one person open on Friday, though, is what I'm saying.
what's that?
And they do, it's just tomorrow, there are 2 people that work
Right.
on Fridays.
On
It's not
Friday,
going to be
this Friday.
available.
Okay, so can we switch one of the guys,
It's already this week.
It happened in this week, so not like it's something that came.
today's Thursday.
Yeah, I know, but I can't make somebody come in and work on Friday if they're already working the week.
It's Wednesday, so.
Like, it's
You
not
said
like,
we could. Why couldn't?
you could, if you want me to, of course.
No, I'm just saying,
like, you wanna get to the, fine, of course.
No, I want to stay open on Friday. I wanted to
Up to
stay
you.
open
I
on
would
Friday.
disagree. I would say, let's let them have their life. Maybe we had a scheduling mistake here. Let's let them do it.
No. In the real world, somebody
In a
has to
real
give up what they're
job,
doing in the real world.
If he's
I think
busy,
that
he
should-
can't come in, you're right.
No, here's what I want to say about that. First of all, that the schedule should revolve. You have one person's got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, every week. And then people, when they're off, like, we should have someone be able, like Todd, I'll say, Todd, all right, Todd, you're off Monday. If we would have known, I guess we didn't know until
We didn't
today.
know, that's what I knew, found out yesterday. But
Okay,
I'm just saying, like, like I was gonna say, I can't change the schedule in the middle of the week. If I know, like, over the weekend, I would say, okay, Dave, don't come in on Monday, so you can work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. But it's not like I can't do that.
so I think
Past the day.
I'm gonna look at a revolve that schedule. We don't want to, I think it should revolve. I should say, okay, this month you got Monday off, you got Monday off. Next month, you work, you got Friday off, or whatever. I want to see that work, but I don't see why couldn't we ask Todd and say, we need somebody to come in here, we're gonna be open, we want to be open. Todd, you gotta come in, you can have off Tuesday, because them two will be back, something like that.
Well,
Why-
it all depends on the pay week too. When does your pay weekend? Like, when does your?
No matter
It
what.
doesn't matter, the pay's the same,
Submit.
pay's the
If
same.
you start doing the rotating basis thing, like, then it's like, okay, well, I don't want 3-day weekend this weekend, I'm gonna work till Friday, and then, so I went off Monday next week, and it's like, I don't like, that rotating thing gives them more power, like,
Right,
that's
they're
why I
doing
make it set.
Doing it now. They're
No,
not
they're
showing
not.
up, I'm sick.
They're using their day to do this. If I shifted the schedule early in the week, it's a day you're working Monday through, and Todd, you're working, Monday through Thursday. Todd doesn't use a day, and he has more days to use later on. You see what I'm saying?
I don't think it's unreasonable. I'm gonna let it go for now, but it's not unreasonable to say, Todd, we're in a pickle. You
I'm
gotta
not
work.
saying people's names, but I'm just saying, in general, I'm just saying,
Public thing.
but
All
I'm
right.
just saying, it
We'll let
goes
it
off
go.
this week.
But if it happens again, it's not gonna happen again, that's all I'm saying, because we're gonna stay open. We told the people that, someone has planned to come tomorrow, Friday. Somewhere out there, they just planned to come here because they're open. When we're not open, we're gonna get that phone call. So I don't want this to happen again, that's it.
Okay.
If no one will work, you have to work. That's it.
I'll work.
I'll
I'm going
work.
to work, I have no problem.
I'm just
I'm
saying,
just saying I had something to do, but I'll come in and work. I have no problem doing it.
I'm
I'm
coming
an
in,
emergency in charge. If buck stops with me anyway, if you want me here on Friday, I'll be here Friday.
I said, I don't want it to happen again. If it happens again and we don't have anybody to work, you're gonna work.
Fine. I'll
Done.
do it this time.
Okay.
I might done. Not a big deal.
We're too lenient with them, too lenient.
It's not, but people get to use time. I wish people had less time, but they have too much time. And that's all I got. So we need a motion to open up to the public.
Just one more thing for the motion, I'm sorry. It got brought to my attention, we don't have crossing guards when the preschool is being let out of school. Because they get out a little bit earlier and there's no guards when the preschool kids are leaving.
Correct.
We're
Is
out
that
there,
correct?
right, yeah,
For
I'm
years.
out there.
Is that correct?
You're out there at 2:00.
Yeah, but each preschool kid, their parents picks them up.
No,
so
it's,
they're-
no, at the time, it's in advance now. It's a set time by the school. It's earlier than it had been in the past, but we don't have guards for them. We don't have.
It is. right?
It is, yeah, but we don't have
It-
guards now, so we might have to adjust that and how we figure that out, because we have kids walking home that are a little, I mean, obviously they're parents, but preschool kids that are walking home, we have no crossing guards for them. Which especially if the GCL thing goes through and now you got kids
Wow.
walking over there at that
That
time
is
and no
definitely
crossing
something
guards,
to
so.
consider. Right.
What time do they,
The-
what time do they
The
get out?
time is
The preschool.
set by Seamus. We do have that, 2:15.
2:13 to 2:15, okay, and there's not guards there at that time,
No.
so. We have to figure that
If
out.
there's a guard there, Dustin, you gonna take your kid down to the corner to cross the
You're usually.
There aren't guards there, we need to
Yeah,
have
I'm
guards
there.
there for the kids,
Cass is
that's the
typically there
bottom line,
early,
we're paying
but
guards to be there, we have to have guards there.
And then it'll.
Again, here.
But that would increase the
that's
amount of hours that they're
because
working.
they're-
We have
they're
kids that are
right now.
crossing
We've
the
got
street.
Amos out.
We
But they're
need
going
guards.
with their
Keep
parents,
out.
it's not like
And
they're
they
walking
also
by
had to cover.
this 3-year-olds walking across the street by themselves. They're with
So
their
why do we
parents.
have guards for the rest of the kids then, if they're all crossing with their parents?
Because the kids that dismiss at regular time, the ones that we have guards, they don't. We have 3rd, 4th, 5th graders, that's fine. But
So-
most of the preschools, they cannot leave unless
There's a
they
parent.
have a parent.
That doesn't mean it's safe for them.
No,
them
it
to
doesn't,
leave.
but I mean, at
We're
least they're
providing guards. for
crossing
them.
with an adult as opposed to a 2nd grader who's leaving regular time and they're crossing with the crossing guard.
We have guards out here and still people almost get killed every day. So now you're saying, hey, just go ahead and cross. As long as you're a parent, you're good to go ahead and cross. I don't think that's the mindset that we should have in the borough. I think we have kids crossing that street. We should have guards out
Well,
there.
then we're gonna have to pay for it, then.
It changed this year, yeah. They let
So maybe the
let them
school
know
can
early.
kick in some extra money or something.
When are you guys? Are you guys out there at that time or is that?
2:15,
Yeah. What time you guys arrive?
Callie 2:55, she's 2:55.
Yeah,
Cass is out earlier.
I'm
2:55.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they're
out
out
the
the
pre-Ks
pre-Ks
are
are
there.
there 40 minutes earlier.
And that just happened. It
This,
just,
this was a new thing for this school year.
I think they should have considered, Sam should have considered.
Cass, can you bring that back to school?
Yeah, but we are out there. I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm there, Keith is usually
I know
there.
you are, but not everybody is.
You know what? That's a good point you bring up. They did that and we don't know about it and then we didn't plan.
Yeah, I didn't find out until about last week. That's why I'm bringing it up
But
now.
this
rough planning.
this week,
And put the safeties on us.
there's been a
That's
problem
rough.
this whole time. You have Seamus who's out. He was away, being trained up in Newark or whatever. Keith is out. They had to cover for Jeanette. I don't know where Jeanette was, but they had to cover for her. So they've been like around, but not constantly. Anthony has done it.
But this dismissal has
But
been
there's
all
nobody
year.
there.
Correct.
2:15.
Anthony has come out
For the
and went
pre-K.
down and covered for them.
But it's been the same time all year, that early dismissal for the pre-K. From a legal standpoint, are we,
Did the school notify borough council or the police department?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think so.
This is.
You were not notified?
I work at
No, I
the
don't
school,
think
that
so.
is what I do, and I wasn't even notified until like 2 days before.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
Very
that's what
willy-nilly
you do.
over there.
yeah,
No, seriously.
Yeah, yeah,
no, you're
This
right.
is significant.
yeah.
So, I think we need a letter from Brian or Ryan or someone.
Tersely worded,
I'll sign it. I mean,
tersely.
I'll write the letter, but
I mean, personally, someone from the school should be at the next meeting to explain exactly what's going on, whether this is temporary or permanent, so that we can adjust accordingly.
I just heard about it 2 days ago, but I'm hearing it's from the beginning of the year. It's been 2:15.
6 months in.
all right,
Yeah.
Cass. All right, so now what do we do? Without the kids, we just ignore them?
I guess you write that letter, see what they say, and
I'm just gonna ask that someone appear at the next meeting.
What do we do for now?
Well, that's up to them, how he
Mike Oshram just brought up a solution,
spots everybody.
and I'm not sure how to go back and over the chief, but we have a sleeve of 3 in the school. If, we can make a designated crossing spot, he is still on the clock.
Yeah.
He can go out and man that post.
Perfect.
Could be an option, and that came from Mike Oshram, so, but
It's a Band-Aid, but a good idea.
But still one that should be agreed to by a representative from the school with us at the next meeting.
Yeah. We need that letter to go out.
and I appreciate the
Or Cass.
suggestion, but I would want the
Right,
SRO
you
leaving
ready?
the school during that time, you want them in the school.
You let them know tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want it to say, or what do you want?
We're gonna represent them, they're gonna get a letter. I think.
Get creative, Cass.
You're gonna need to make sure you walk.
Break out the
Be
typewriter
there.
back.
We just
Yeah,
wanna know,
but see, he has to do the schedule.
we just wanna know, like, is that permanent? Is there a time set? Is there something they can bring to us so we can figure out a solution? to it?
Okay, maybe he has to tell his other crossing guards, not the ones that are there, that that's the time they have to be there.
Yeah, I
And
think we're
that's the
speculating
time they
now.
leave.
I
Like,
think
you'll see me stand
you're
there how
right.
many
It's a major
times
safety thing.
by myself. But that's the time I'm supposed to be there. I'm not supposed to leave till that time. You see what I'm saying? So whether anybody's coming or not, to get your time, you're supposed to be there.
Right.
I don't know what else to say.
So what's the exact reporting time for you? You're supposed to be there.
It's Tuesdays is 2:22. That's when we're
Is that what the
supposed to be
schedule
there.
says, 2:22?
I'm sorry?
Is that what the schedule says, 2:22? That's
Uh-huh.
wild they do that.
And then, regular day is, 2:20, no, 20:30, like 2:35. I mean, you're late sometimes, or something happens, or,
But we're talking a 20-minute window from
It's-
reporting time to
it's
where they're
busy
currently
out
being
there.
let out.
It is
yeah,
busy.
well,
it
you
is.
don't.
Yeah.
The other problem is, and I'm not knocking or whatever, but this
Christiana Street, they're starting to park from the church around that corner. So you have kids that are being let out in the parking lot. Then you have to watch Akon. There, you got teachers trying to go this way, people trying to come this way. And then you have people who won't listen to you when you say, please use the crosswalk, and they cross right in the middle of the street. I mean, you've seen it.
I
see it every
comes
morning.
down to just modifying that time.
Can you report,
So
Kat,
I would
just to the
look
school and
into-
ask them
look into the
if they could
timeline.
communicate back to us the change, if it's permanent, the exact time, and then if they can, send somebody to maybe tell us and explain that, and then we can come up with a solution.
Okay.
Thank you. Motion to open the public.
Second.
Aye.
Favor?
Aye.
Now open the public for any public comments.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to write down what I gotta ask them. All right, I have two things.
Yes.
The benches. Did we
Mention your
get
name.
enough benches for Memorial
Excuse me.
Park?
Name and address.
Name and
guys.
address, please.
No, I mean, I got two people. I've got him telling me name and address. I got him telling me, so who?
Don't worry about him.
I'm listening to you.
Okay,
Okay, Kathleen Moss, 306 Christiana Street,
thank you, Kat.
Brooklawn, New Jersey.
Thank you. Which was it?
08030.
Did we get enough benches to replace those two in the memorial park?
Yes, yes. as-
Okay,
as
so
was
they
mentioned
will
in
be
the,
done, right?
Yes, yes. 4, right?
4 in the playground, 2 in Memorial Park.
Oh, 2.
There's 2 that need replaced, and then we have the one that's ready to go anyway.
John, you put 4 in the playground?
Playground.
You put pads down.
There's already pads
They're
there.
Oh,
back there.
Okay.
I covered this earlier.
Yeah, they're
here.
already on.
Oh,
We
I
were
see,
talking
it's
about
AstroTurf.
possibly 6, yeah.
They're under the,
underneath,
they're
which is
under
ready
the
to go.
Astro.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect, good. That's a good, okay.
And then there's foam underneath the AstroTurf,
Gotcha.
which is rated for the 20-foot fall. So then we go through those, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, just looking at it, that was your job over there. You did a good job by looking ahead.
Thanks.
Perfect.
But yeah, no, so it'll be in good shape. And I think 4 is good because you still want plenty of free playroom.
It was asked to me yesterday, a person said, how come there's no benches in here? Honest to God.
Yeah, you had to wait for warmer weather for the
And
snow.
I said, it's gonna be trouble putting them in. We're gonna have to cut the
Yeah,
plan
all
out.
set,
So you planned very good.
all set.
Well, Mike had said way back when, around this time, when the benches come in and stuff, remember?
Yeah, look it up, we'll have them in. So the benches will be put in, 100% guaranteed.
Thank you.
Wow.
All right, Number 2.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't want you to think there's no problems with this playground over here.
I hear about it every morning.
We don't
from
think
Harry.
that.
But Friday, not only that, but I think Friday it was closed, wasn't it? You had to close it
It
Friday.
was Thursday, I think,
No, Friday, I think it was.
whatever day it was
I don't
great
care,
because
Thursday or Friday.
I was able to.
They had to close it
exclusively-
because of fighting, and these are not all Brooklyn kids.
What do you mean? During school?
Was it during school
No, it
or
was after hours.
after hours? But still, it had to be closed down. There's bikes in there, there's ball playing, they have the clips on top of the fence coming off because they're jumping over the fence.
Well,
I mean, that can't be monitored, 24/7. It is ready to cross the street from a police station. Kids are gonna do that. I think they do a nice job of, you see something, you say something.
I'm not
they can
saying
call
they
it.
don't, but what I'm also saying is it's also ball field,
Oh, yeah.
you got the school.
It's good there because
You got
that's multiple
traffic.
eyes on it, which is nice. The traffic is a little
No,
further away.
but there is a
not.
problem. I just
Be
don't
a
want,
problem like in any
see,
park.
you don't live there, I do.
I
So don't tell me
I
there's
know.
not a problem.
never said that. And
I'm
All
saying,
right.
comprehension wise would be, just
Well, let's
remember
keep it
that
simple.
it's important. We always call when there's a problem. That's the only thing we could do. Saying here after the fact, not the best. Calling it every time we see it is great.
I'm not
That's the
saying
way to do
that.
it.
What
You're
I'm
doing a good
saying
job
is I
calling it.
just wanted to let you know
Thank you.
that there is a problem.
Thank you. No, we do appreciate that. And it's good that you're there to keep an eye on that kind of stuff because a lot of us don't live right near there. And it's good to have somebody that lives close and that cares.
You have a lot of little kids on their bicycles
Mhm.
and they're like running right out or riding right out in the middle of the street.
I know.
And I have to holler, watch the car behind you, or in fact, I think you heard me today.
I do. That is a line that you all alter, which is good. I do think parents should have a better look on that, but I think we, like a lot of places are assumed risk when you go to a place that is climbing, when it's climbing and things like that, especially like there's a lot of kids
Well,
around.
the parents are dropping the kids off, leaving them there.
Yeah.
And then leaving and then coming back and getting them.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna change at all. I'd say that'll probably even get worse with the way that
Oh, I'm
society goes.
sure.
It's not it's
I'm
not a
sure.
one income household life anymore because things are expensive and I know that's what people do. It's unfortunate, but it is kind of the way it is. I think it's good that it's near a camera. I think it's good that it's near a police station. I don't know a lot of other parks and especially schools that can boast the same thing. And it's good to have caring residents like yourself that can keep an eye on it.
You know, I'm not
Thank you
saying
for what you
they're
do.
not doing their job, because trust me, they don't pay attention to them either. And some of them are
No,
not
the kids
from
don't pay attention to
Brooklawn.
cops. No, you're right. Right, like I see that a lot.
I mean, there's no respect,
No, you're right.
nothing. It's terrible.
That's not gonna get any better, It's a shame the way the world went that way.
And just since we're on the topic of the park, we did have a kid hit a moonshot in the Gloucester Catholic game, hit a girl that was on the swing. So we are going to, and we're ordering fencing, netting to go up on that side of the ball field,
That's good.
obviously stop them coming in. And I asked Bruce if he could extend it around. That way, if we did have concerns about the things that may be going in at the church,
Yep.
we would also have netting around that side because we were concerned of, past people have brought up concerns about people coming up to the fence with kids right there. So we would run that netting around that side down Christiana, and then it would run the ball field side as well to prevent the ball from coming in.
With the
So-
caliber of players that we get on that field now, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's a shot, but
Yeah, it's a shot.
Yeah.
But you have some of the best baseball on planet Earth being played there, and I think that's great.
yeah.
Some of those balls come as far as my house.
Yeah.
I found them in my yard and stuff.
So we are doing something about it.
Yeah,
I'm
it is.
hoping that's the solution.
Ryan ordered, you got the order today, right?
Well, no,
I mean, he gave it to you,
yeah,
right?
he gave it to me.
So we're on top of
Well,
that.
Bruce was there the other day and Gloucester Catholic was playing. He had, or practicing, he had two of the kids come into the park.
Yes.
So
it
that
is.
if
It is.
any of the balls came, they would catch them.
We said 3, and every game they have, they're gonna have,
What happened to the orange fence we used to have?
that's a snow fence, is that what you're talking
Well,
about?
they used to put that up at times to separate this field and this field.
Yeah, we don't want them playing at the same time. We don't want the Legion and the softball people in there. That was my,
Yeah, well, I think they worked that out, but they
What?
practice.
they don't hit any, they do other practices, if the school's playing, they're playing softball. Because a kid back then got hit in the back of the head.
Mhm.
And I think it was a teacher, right?
Teacher,
Yeah. So, no. They're pretty good with that.
And just to reiterate what Skip said, that Gloucester Catholic agreed to put kids in there right now until,
Otherwise-
defenders in
otherwise-
there right now until we get the netting. So,
Otherwise, again, knowing that that's a danger, how could we continue, that something would have to give, like no games?
Yeah, yeah.
No.
I mean, that's the least,
that was the solution.
the least that we could do is have kids catching, so not every kid's gonna hit it 450 feet.
Well, if you remember, there were trees out there, and then
Yeah.
all those trees were taken down.
Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we're gonna get the netting and actually Bruce has talked to Jim Ferry for the poles. We're trying to get a price together by tomorrow.
I like the tree idea too, but then that was a visibility concern when your kids are in there, that you
Right.
can't see them from everywhere, so they have to come down. So it's like,
And if you do that.
yeah, it's one of those types of scenarios. But yeah, no, that's, it's good. Was that it, guys? No.
That's it.
Thank you for bringing it up.
No.
It's okay, doesn't matter.
But we had-
Mine's minor.
we had
Mine's
a-
minor.
he would help.
Okay, so when you were talking about the automated payment system,
Yeah.
and I think the comment was said, oh yeah, the water bills are gonna be able to be paid on it as well.
Yeah.
Okay, is there going to be a fee associated with it? Because when we went to where you could pay online your taxes, it was like a hefty fee surcharge in order to do that. Well, no, I'm gonna walk over and give you my check. I'm not doing, but if you want to encourage people to go to automated, okay, that, why is there a fee associated if you're using a checking account? Because a lot of my bill paying, if you're coming from a checking account, you don't get a surcharge. If you're using a credit card, yes, because you don't want to have to pay that 3 or 5% merchant fee. Okay, so if you're going to encourage everybody to pay their taxes and their water bill, I like to see that it's not a fee if you want me to do it electronically. Not that I will enjoy coming and saying hi to everybody, because I do, but I'm not going to pay that fee when you're encouraging people to make
We're not
life
really
easier.
I'm not encouraging anybody, but the problem is, like, people come in here, I can only pay with a credit card. That's the reason why I want the kiosk, because we don't have a credit card machine, and we can pay it online for them. They were like, I could do it on your line, but what happened was that hefty fee, they went home.
$35.
Yeah, but we told them in advance, it's actually happening, we told them in advance, this was like a couple years ago, that there is this fee. They went in and disputed the charge. And I said, that's it, we're not, no longer taking credit card payments anymore. This was a while ago. And that's why, but we still get people coming in and they get mad, they have to leave. So this way we have a kiosk, they'll be set up to be able to do the credit card payment. They do it, they authorize it, and there's nothing they can say, but we authorize it. Like when they ask you that, bet, are you good with this? I'm the one clicking it, not the homeowner. So if they dispute it, they win.
Okay, so you're putting
That's
a
the reason why
kiosk
we're
for
putting it out.
credit card only.
It's just a convenience. We're just giving them a convenience
Okay,
to.
well, because if we went
the
online,
ACH
we used to be able to
transaction
go
is $1.99.
online, okay? And like I said, some of my creditors, it's coming from a checking account, there's no fee, because they're getting that you're getting the cash, you're not getting a surcharge as a vendor, okay? But if I was gonna do that, I still got the $35 fee. And I'm like, you'd have more of us paying online to ease up everybody coming in? If we weren't charged the fee, if you're taking it from a checking account. I get it, you don't want to pay
I don't know the reason, but,
Well, the credit card is a merchant fee, it's you got the merchant fee thing
Right.
that you pay.
Correct.
I pay online all the time here, for my taxes and my water bill, it's $1.95, I just put my bank information, it's $1.95 fee.
Yeah, but why?
And I work.
But why? Nobody else does.
Because it's a
There's nothing
servicer
free.
it's not our servicer, we're not the one servicer, it's an outside company, so they gotta make their money, I guess.
I'm just saying, I'd like to see that if you're using a checking account, that there would be fees to the people in Brooklawn, and I'd be more than glad to pay it online and be a little less, cumbersome coming in. I mean, you're putting in that new thing. I didn't realize it was gonna be just for credit cards, which fine, you have to pass on that, fee, because you don't wanna have to pay it, you're not a merchant. But, I mean, for people, I think you should include it, so if you're using a checking and routing number, that it should be feeless. That would encourage more people to pay that way.
I know.
That's just my suggestion.
Yeah, sounds good. I feel the same way. I paid it one time and I saw the fee, I'm like, uh-oh,
Yeah,
I come over now.
yeah, I mean, I can remember. I mean, again, credit card makes sense, but
You have that option because it tells you right there.
Yeah.
It ain't like it's.
I'm not giving away money, so.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Smart spending.
Anybody?
We
else?
DoorDash all the time. So.
Yeah, you do.
My name is
Okay.
Dustin Curry. I live at 306 Haycock. Multiple issues. One is regarding the park. What happened to the gate that was there before? And why aren't we putting a gate back on?
Cause every gate that goes on, they rip it off. Every gate.
Have we done heavy duty hardware?
No.
Yeah.
Every single gate that's ever been put up there in my tenure.
They go in, like, they swing on it, and
Has
they make it swing
anybody
back
been
and forth.
investigated for ripping the gate off? Charged, fined, pay for the gate that gets ripped off? Don't we have cameras on that property?
Yeah, but the cops, even nowadays, can't do anything with minors. They can't, like, there's nothing, like, you can't charge them for anything anymore for that's the most thing, and you can speak to this, Captain, because it's a,
I mean, can't be pushed to the
You really can't do
parents to
anything.
identify the minor?
Most things are handled on a station house adjustment.
Yeah.
You could add a monetary fine for restitution, in the agreement, but, for the most part, criminal mischief things of that nature. Station house agreement could be an SA, community service,
But that's
Since I've been here.
But that has not been happening over the last couple of years.
We don't do community
It
service.
used to be a huge thing, but not many.
To touch base on this, we don't do
Yeah, why-
community service
why not?
anymore because of adolescents, around my employees, as a department head, and not a police officer. I won't allow my guys, around adolescent children unattended by, let's just say a police officer. It's not gonna happen. It's just, I don't think it's warranted. You know, if they wanna bring their parents in and go pick up trash with their parents, but they're not gonna do it under the guidance and supervision of the individuals that work for me.
If I remember correctly, Mike, you've done that.
Never did station house, but.
Don't worry.
You've done
Yeah,
some
call me.
community service with my son, so don't tell me you didn't. because our former chief,
That's how we knew he was the guy for the job.
He was good. He was good.
so yeah,
It's just, listen, it's
no,
a different time now.
I hear what you're saying.
And I'm not, you know,
Times change.
I'm certainly advocating for my police department, not only as
Yeah, no,
a member of Brooklawn, but also,
Right.
you know, I work here. These cameras are 150, you can't put a camera in every single place. It's just not possible. We have tons of cameras here, you can't catch everybody. And it's adolescents doing it. By the time you go to chase down that monetary value and get it off the parents, it's not, we've literally spent $4,000 of your taxpayers' money trying to chase down $350 damage
Too
gate.
much information.
When the kids are out here, they're being watched by the teachers that work there, if that's your concern. But after hours, I've been to 20 different parks where there's no gates on any of these equipment. So it's not like it's the areas that are closer to the highway and the streets are blocked with a fence.
I know, but still, the big concern is we have a large population of autistic children in this town that go play on that every day.
Right, but they're being watched by the teachers.
I mean.
Yeah, and then
they're-
it's still in after school.
No, and going to school,
Yeah,
because I
but-
talked to Alyssa Lefkowitz, and I talked to Patty Moulton today, because I had an IEP meeting for my son who has autism. And, you know, I brought it up to them, I'm like, where's the gate now? Because I was there this Saturday, or last Saturday, and Skip knows that. And the gate's not there.
Yeah.
I mean,
But teachers are watching their children.
yeah, but two teachers for 30 children is a lot, especially with the ones who like the bolt, like my son.
I know there's individuals from that school that are tentative to individuals that have physical and mental impairments, if you will. Maybe they should be watching the children. This sounds more like an Alice Costello school problem rather than a problem of the municipality. Although we're always willing to help, but as far as the gate
Oh, I
thing,
know. It also comes into, like, what do we do about the situation? Because I've kicked kids out of there. I mean, it's 9:30, 10 o'clock, like, you hear loud noises and bangs and stuff, you come outside, there's nothing around you, it's over at the park, you go over to the park, and you come and get out. I mean, I'll do it, I don't care, but it also goes along with, like, down at the waterfront. Under 18 curfew should be 7 o'clock. If I wasn't home by 7 o'clock when I was young, I mean, a belt comes across you, right? So being out past curfew, if there's a minor out past 7 o'clock in one of these areas, 7 o'clock, you still have daylight most of the year, except, you know, peak of winter. And that's a curfew violation or a trespassing violation. That can get hit, and that's cheap, and that'll discourage all these brats. I'm gonna call them brats, that's what they are, from destroying the town. And it's not just that park and the waterfront, it's all over town. These children, they're terrible. This kid hit my truck with an electric dirt bike coming down Mac Adams. Nailed my truck, probably going 20 miles per hour on this thing. I've got big mud tires on it, so it doesn't matter. I asked him, I was like, dude, are you okay? Because I was parked on this side talking to Harry, you know, about the cleanup that I'm doing next Saturday. And like this kid, nobody says anything to him. And he just rides us all. He tears up the school lawn. These kids are bad.
You know, yeah, there is this one student, I do believe, and I'm just saying. I came here one day, everybody's in school, there's a kid on a electric motorbike.
You're sitting there talking with me.
I was talking, and I said, hey, Sonny boy, how come you weren't in school? He said, I don't go to school right now. I go after everybody goes to school. I said, really? What's your name? None of your business. You know. evidently has a behavioral problem and.
He's actually a really nice kid.
He was tearing up on a motorcycle, doing donuts. I said, I mean, he's not that old. I don't know how old he is.
He's a young kid. I mean, he clearly should be in school. I saw him, said the same thing, said, oh, I'm not in instruction. So you're just out living your
But
life.
it's not them,
Is what he-
I've had,
Is he legal? Is he legal when he's driving?
He goes to our school, right?
It's one of those motorized.
He goes to our school? Yeah, it's a like.
Yes.
But the
it's the
thing
thing about the
flies.
kids that
It
are
does
out late. I mean, I've had kids come up to my door at 11 o'clock and ding dong ditch me. Now I've got Fort Knox level security at my house.
Do you call
We
the
all know
cops?
that.
If I had
No, because, I
you
mean,
knock
you
on my
come to,
door,
you come to my door,
I'm calling the cops.
I'm a Second Amendment supporter, it opens. I don't care who it is. If you're knocking on my door at 11 o'clock, I have no clue who you are.
Pulling guns on kids, maybe.
I didn't say pull a gun, so watch your mouth for a second, thank you.
You said Second Amendment, that's what I assumed. I
Which is
apologize.
my right though. I'm not gonna pull a gun on a kid.
All right,
We're just,
Okay.
we're getting the.
open it up is what I heard, and I'm sorry that I misinterpreted.
So, I mean, what can we do about these situations around town with these kids?
The parents.
We're destroying everything.
Parents, I don't know.
I
I don't know
the
the
parents
answer.
need
You know the
to-
answer to that magic question?
Can we drop the curfews down at these public areas for,
Well, if the parents don't care where their kids are at, I think the problem is the parents. They're just not taking care of their
yeah, but
children.
the parents aren't gonna do anything. They're not gonna change.
I don't know what the answer is. I don't know.
So if we dropped it to 7 o'clock for minors, the police, if they get a call for somebody out there at 7 o'clock, they'll be able to easily identify these kids and tell these kids, okay,
But
well,
with all due respect, that's not feasible, particularly during the summer when it's till 8:30.
Yeah, 9 o'clock, it's light, still lit.
well, I mean, they don't say unsupervised, that no unsupervised minors at these places, so
You see.
dropping the curfew for a minor to under 7, or at 7 would be feasible, wouldn't it?
Be quieter.
I don't know.
I think it would take, it's one of those things where research is kind of needed or necessary, to see what kind of options are available. We can look into it and see what possibilities can be considered. Can't just say to drop it, but we will do our due diligence and research what options we can abide by and kind of go from there. I don't know how long that will take, to get into play, but at least we'll go through, because I'm all about evidence-based, as a nurse, always about evidence-based practice. So looking into research models, yeah, looking into some possibilities and aspects, we will consider, we can bring it to even the public and to council down the line. But again, don't know how long it'll take to implement, but we can look into something for what best meets our needs. And we'll work on it.
That's good answer, I like that. So that brings me to the park again. Can anybody tell me what the maintenance schedule is through the warranty on this park? Anybody?
So-
I've asked you, you have no idea, right?
9 o'clock.
No, the maintenance.
The maintenance.
It's not you.
I don't
It's
believe
not
there's a
county.
maintenance
It's through.
Barry gets it once too.
There is a warrant.
So
I don't believe there's a maintenance.
Berliner doesn't have a maintenance schedule packet, but we do go through it monthly with our safety coordinator. We go through it monthly and it's checked. Some of the moving equipment, the parts, it's checked, it's shaped, it's rocked. It's like, I was actually just on the phone today with Brett Hadaway, the individual that we actually built with. Like, we check the ropes, make sure the cleats are tight.
Pinch
just
points, yeah.
The pinch points, the Christmas spinner, there's a collar up top and a collar below that's tightened. But besides that, everything's pretty much a stationary item. Do things come loose?
Yeah.
When it's treated like animals, absolutely. So that stuff is built to take a beating, but it's not unbeatable.
Okay.
So when something does get broke, it's because 5 kids are swinging on one
Yeah,
thing.
I
That's
get
not what it's intended for. So when somebody that sees something breaks, it's not of lack of maintenance, because we
Right.
send our individuals over there to check it.
I know you do. I'm not
But
saying
when
it's lack of-
individuals act like animals on something that's not supposed to be treated like that, That's where things got broke. We had one slide out there for the handicapped children, it had to be taken down. It was $1,800, it's destroyed. It wasn't destroyed because one kid's using it, and it wasn't destroyed for lack of maintenance. So the maintenance schedule is being taken care of. I mean, people are people, man. They're gonna try to destroy things.
These kids, it's crazy.
So we
Harry
replaced roads
already
that are cut with
fixed the top
knives.
of the fences. He did it, and so did
Yeah.
Harry.
I mean, I
He
had,
already
I
did it.
had to take it upon myself last weekend,
You could, and we do have a 24-hour service. Our highway, sewer, and water department are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So if something prevents a hazard or a danger to the children, the pedestrians, or the motoring public, we will take care of it
see,
immediately.
I didn't know that. I reached out to somebody who's involved with the town, and she said, I mean, it was built by the community, so I went and grabbed the tools out of my truck with the torque wrench, grabbed the torque specs off the internet for, you know, the swing device. And so what prompted me to do this is I was at the park all day Saturday with my son and one of his friends. And my son's on the swing, it only weighs 50 pounds. One of the mounts shifted, which means the chain came down. My son went forward, smashed his face on the ground. So I'm like, I had the ability, I grabbed my tool set out of my truck and I grabbed the torque wrench and I torqued everything up. I tightened the shackles that hold the chains to the seats and everything. And so.
Well, you have confidence in it, and it's not, we wouldn't deny that, I think, from what.
I think it's more of a legal liability thing. If something were to happen, somebody says, oh,
You
look,
would
this
be
guy.
someone outside, the people that built it, when it was a supervised build, we could get in trouble because then it's like unwarrantable. So for example, when we did it, it was 2 certified installers from Berliner, right? So he had, like, he didn't just let us go. It was one of those, this is what has to be done, it was supervised, and it had to be certified at the end. That basically we did it. So now only people that can operate it are certified installers. So like Mike's team was all there, they are certified to do it. If anybody touches it after that, would void warranty. Like most things, I would assume.
And like I said before, Dustin, if you have like 3434s or non-emergent number, it'll sound like you're calling 911, but you're not. If anything ever happens, day or night, I don't care if it's 1 a.m. or 1 p.m., my whole crew is ready at all times to make any repairs or close it or take it apart or make it safe for our community.
It's just.
It's a small town for certain things, but liability kind of has to take precedence in other things, because everybody's gonna get sue happy, and these companies, like, you see the, CEO of that one healthcare company, people love denying claims. They're obsessed with it, and they're gonna find every way to deny it.
I get it. I was just wondering. I mean, I see your guys out there all the time.
Heart was in the right place.
And like, I asked Ryan, and I think it slipped on his mind because you just loaded with stuff. I honestly should have asked you. I mean, I talked to him.
And it's not the fact that like, it doesn't get checked every day. That's not the maintenance requirement for that. It's like the first 6 months, you probably check it once a week. Like after that, it's once a month. Then it's every 2 months.
I mean, what I can do, Mike, is I can easily go over there every day. And
No, we're capable of handling. We check it on a monthly basis. We got it. But if you see something that's wrong,
No,
we're gonna see
what I'm
something.
saying is I can go check it every day as a taxpayer and parent, and I can just let you guys know if there's
There's
anything wrong.
no need to do that. I mean, if you want to do that on your own free will and check it every day, have at it. But we do check it on a monthly basis. So, and I certainly appreciate it. Like I said, if there's an issue in the future, you can call us at any time.
And what I say, because I'm assuming you see other parents as well, if you see anything, please call. Tell everybody else too. If you see something, say something. It's one of those things that
Absolutely.
is said all the time, but we don't want it to be just, I'm saying it to Colin, we don't want it to just be said during a council meeting. Like, if you see it, call, because that's, you guys are our eyes and ears for things. Like, I don't know anything's going on until somebody says something. Nobody sees me much, I guess, because it's cold outside. But for the most part, like, if you see any one of us, let us know. Tell your friends, the kids' parents, and everybody to contact Borough Hall, the non-emergent number. Those are you guys are
Yeah,
the people that see it, and we would appreciate that feedback as well.
absolutely.
And I know Dustin didn't, Mayor and Council, I'm sorry to take up your time. I know it's late, but just to touch on this because it's important. You know, I know you have a lot of contacts and things like that, and you stay in touch with the community. I know we're doing, like, Mayor and Council has mentioned multiple times, if they see something, say something. I don't want you or anybody else within the community to think that there's not enough people to do what we have to do. Like,
No, I know there is.
I just want to make that publicly known that everywhere, every community, we just can't be everywhere at once. We certainly wish we can, but if you see something, say
There's an
something.
order of prioritization that has to go on, so. And I understand that. I mean, if there's an escalation chain, you have to prioritize your situation, same with the police, same with the mayor, same with me. Doing software, like, it's just how it is. No, I get it. I know we can all confidently do our jobs, and the council and the mayor and the police department and public works are all doing their jobs. I mean, I've commended you publicly
Absolutely.
about the water. I commended the police on how they conduct themselves. And, you know, it's just, I'm worried about not just my kids, but everybody else's kids. And like these older kids are just wild.
You know, in closing, that's why inner cities and big cities and towns built boys clubs and girls clubs. Because they had the same problems back then. Teenagers and kids are kids. And they gotta get it out of their system. Now, kids are bad now because of what the media and
Social media and the internet.
that's what, when I grew up, it was a boys club or a YMCA, and things like that, you know? So, it's a different world. All right,
Skip, excuse me, do you remember when we used to have the committee with council, where so many times
I don't like
the
the way
kid
that
was
went.
brought in by the
I
police
apologize.
or whatever, they had to come before that committee?
well, not
Can
only
you
that.
still do that, or?
No, Cass, Chief Reader would say, okay, Saturday, you know, or whatever, with the parent. My kids painted fences because they destroyed a fence.
I mean, I go
But
around
they
and help
learn.
seniors here already. So.
But, yeah, so, yeah, it's a different world. I mean, now you got, like, everything, you gotta be a lawyer to be a policeman,
Well,
right?
there's no consequences.
Really? You know, it's crazy out there.
None.
A kid comes down to accountability, and there is a lack of it overall, and not just in Brooklyn specifically, but we're talking about society.
Some of these kids are not from
It's
Brooklyn.
nationwide.
Yeah, it's everywhere. So we work on what we got, on the issues that we got, focus on those, and we will do the best we can to address what we can.
I mean, I remember I threw a rock at a friend's house window when I was probably 10 years old, and, you know, I got caught, and my mom had to pay a fine. So, I mean, it's the same thing. I never did it again.
Well, that's why you're a good father now, you know? So, a lot of them bad fathers. All right, well, it's getting late.
Well, they're not done yet, like, I
You
don't know if anybody.
guys need to change the clock.
I mean, it is getting late, and I'm getting tired.
Oh, shut up
I'm
then.
gonna end myself.
You guys need to fix the
I
clock.
had a few more
It's
things, but I
actually
can
9:20.
sidebar it with Ryan
They
and
didn't
you
send
later.
it for daylight saving time.
Not
Yeah,
public meeting.
no, I didn't mean to rush it.
Oh, no, I'm
I
getting
see
tired
people
too.
like this.
Michael, didn't you get them changed?
I get
to
upset,
daylight
it's
saving
been a long-
time?
yeah.
I'm sure we all do.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sit there so
Yeah, we
late.
did.
Motion to
I thought about it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Yeah.
Adjourn.
That's the clock, we had for daylight saving time.
You didn't even close to the public.
We just
Yeah,
did. We just
Yeah,
did.
we did.
Colin,
That's cool.
and then Stacy will want to.
They really don't
Mr.
care.
Brewster, did you talk to my friend yet?
Come on, Mike,
He's just
get
not
on
on
here,
the
you
page for
call
that
him.
hour.